1. Listen with every part of your being. This moment is not random. The very fact that your eyes are fixed here means heaven has paused the noise around you. Your name has been spoken in places higher than earthly courts. In the hidden council chambers of eternity, angels have leaned in to hear it. Demons have trembled at the sound of it. And you are now being reminded of something that was settled before the foundations of the world. You are not ordinary. You are marked. You have felt the weight of it, haven't you? That restless sense that you are different, that you cannot simply blend in, that the crowd has never truly been your home. Rejection carved scars into your story, but those scars became proof of your consecration. The nights of loneliness, the misunderstandings, the times when you cried out to God asking, "Why me?" They were not evidence of abandonment, but confirmation that you were separated for something greater. Your name is not just a sound, it is a decree. In heaven's council, when your name was whispered, it carried destiny with it. It carried assignments. It carried authority. That whisper was not a question, it was a command into the earth. A declaration that you are part of a divine blueprint no man can erase. Consider this truth. When your name is spoken in heaven, all creation shifts to align. The path of your life may twist and turn, yet unseen hands have been guiding you. The accidents that did not happen, the disasters that did not consume you, the betrayals that did not end you. All of these moments were proof that heaven has been defending the whisper of your name. And do you know why the attacks have been so relentless? Because hell heard it too. Every whisper in heaven sends shockwaves into the underworld. Darkness does not waste its energy on the common. You have faced resistance not because you are weak, but because you carry a weight that terrifies the adversary. Chosen one. Awaken. Lift your head and understand. You are not forgotten, not overlooked, not replaceable. Heaven does not whisper carelessly. Your name has been inscribed on scrolls that cannot be erased. What God has spoken cannot be undone. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 33, verse 3. Call to me, and I will answer you, and show you great, unsearchable things you do not know. These words are not distant echoes from history. They are a living summons, reaching into your spirit right now. Your destiny is hidden in mysteries that heaven longs to reveal to you. This is why your life feels like a battlefield. This is why you have been pressed beyond what others around you seem to bear. The council of heaven whispered your name, and the enemy heard the assignment attached to it. Yet here you are, still standing, still hearing this. Proof that no darkness could silence you. Do not take this lightly. The same whisper that carried your name into heaven's secret council now waits for your response on earth. Will you rise to it? Will you walk in it? Or will you bury it under fear and distraction? You stand at a crossroads where one decision can shift not only your story, but the stories of generations after you. Chosen one. Now is your hour to awaken. Lift your voice, align your heart, and declare to both heaven and earth, I accept the call. I will not run. I am chosen. Then, if this word strikes your spirit, act on it. Do not let it vanish into the noise. Like this message, share it so others can awaken too. And subscribe now to remain connected to the flow of what God is releasing. And as a prophetic sign, comment the number 777 below. This is not superstition, it is agreement with heaven's seal of divine completion over your life. Your name has been whispered in heaven's council, and today you are reminded. You are known, you are set apart, and you are unstoppable, chosen one. Understand this, the whisper of your name in heaven's council was not a suggestion, it was a command, a decree sealed by the mouth of God. When God speaks, nothing returns void. The echo of that whisper has been shaping your path long before you recognized it. That is why certain doors closed in your face. Not every opportunity was meant for you, because your calling could not be contained in man's limitations. Every rejection was a redirection. Every detour, a preparation. You thought you were forgotten, but in truth, you were being hidden until the appointed time. You must grasp this. Heaven's secrets are not revealed to the careless. They are entrusted to those who have endured the breaking, those who have walked through fire without letting the flame consume their identity. You are one of them. That is why you survived. That is why your story is still being written. The whisper of your name did not stop in heaven's council. It continues to resound even now in the chambers of your heart. When you feel that tug in the night, when your spirit stirs without explanation, that is the sound of eternity reminding you, you are chosen. And this choosing is not light. It requires courage, it demands surrender, to carry what you are called to carry. You must let go of what once held you bound. Fear, shame. I doubt these chains cannot walk with you into your future. The whisper has called you higher. Lift your eyes beyond the weight of today. See with the vision of one whose destiny has already been announced in eternity. Heaven did not whisper your name for you to settle for survival. You were called to overcome, to advance, to stand as a living testimony of divine purpose. Even when you feel weak, remember, your name was spoken in the place of power. That alone is proof that heaven has already equipped you. You are not lacking. You are armed with everything necessary for your mission. Chosen one. Walk boldly. The whisper that carried your name is the same voice that called light out of darkness. The same voice that parted seas. The same voice that raised the dead. That voice has declared you chosen. So, stand tall. The whisper of your name is heaven's command for you to rise. And the earth itself is waiting for your obedience. From the moment, creation stirred in silence. Your name was already written into its fabric, long before your first breath, before your heart beat for the very first time, before the world even knew you. Heaven had already marked you. You are not a coincidence. You are not the result of chance. You are the evidence of a divine plan that stretches further than time itself. The weight of your life cannot be measured by what you see today, because your story was drafted in the chambers of eternity before the sun, moon, and stars found their place in the sky. This is why you often feel out of place in this world. The earth is temporary, but your assignment is eternal. You were marked with an unseen seal, a crown that even you may not yet have recognized. That mark has followed you through every season, through childhood struggles, through battles that nearly destroyed you, through moments when you questioned why you were even alive, and still, through all of it, the mark of heaven remained. Think about this. You could not control where you were born, who raised you, or the challenges that shaped your early years. But none of these things were mistakes. The soil of your upbringing, even when rocky, even when painful, was chosen for a reason. God knew that your path would not be like the others. You were meant to endure storms that would break ordinary people, And yet, here you are still standing, still breathing, still chosen. That is not weakness. That is proof that destiny has been guarding you. Many around you may have doubted your worth. Some may have spoken words that tried to diminish you. They could not see what was written about you in heaven. They could not hear the whispers that echoed in eternity before you were born. You have always been more than what people said about you, more than the labels, more than the expectations they placed upon you. You were marked from the beginning for a destiny that cannot be denied. Your story has always been bigger than survival. The moments when you nearly gave up, when despair crept in, were the very moments destiny refused to let you go. Even in your lowest places, the whisper of your name in heaven was still active, still declaring, still protecting. You thought you were forgotten, but in reality, you were being preserved. Preservation is not neglect, it is protection. There were times you asked, "Why me? Why do I carry this weight? Why do I suffer more than others?" The answer is not punishment. The answer is purpose. Those who are chosen cannot walk an ordinary path. To carry what you carry, to hold what heaven has entrusted to you, you must be shaped differently. The fire you have faced has refined you, not destroyed you. The crushing you have endured has released fragrance that could not come any other way. Every trial, every delay, every unanswered prayer has been part of the story of someone who was marked before the world began. The chosen do not walk the easy road, because their destiny is not small. You may not see the full picture yet, but heaven has seen it from the start. You are walking in steps that were already ordered before you knew how to walk. And here is a mystery. Even your mistakes, even your failures, even your moments of rebellion were not enough to erase the mark. The counsel of heaven whispered your name, and that whisper carried mercy, redemption, and restoration. Where others saw failure, God saw a future. Where others saw brokenness, God saw a vessel ready to be filled. Lift your eyes and see yourself through heaven's perspective. You are not behind. You are not too late. Every year, every loss, every setback has been gathered by God and will be woven into the masterpiece of your destiny. You are exactly where you need to be for the next chapter of your purpose to unfold. The mark upon you cannot be erased by human opinion, cannot be stolen by the enemy, cannot be undone by time. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 9. He has saved us and called us to a holy life, not by our works, but by his purpose and grace, given in Christ before time. This is your reality. Your calling is not based on your performance, but on a purpose that existed before the world was born. Let this truth sink into you. You are living proof that destiny cannot be stopped. When you walk into a room, you carry more than your presence. You carry the weight of heaven's whisper. That is why things shift when you arrive. That is why some are drawn to you, and others are unsettled by you. The mark on your life is visible in the spirit, even if it is invisible in the natural. Chosen one, you are marked from the beginning. Do not despise the journey that has shaped you, for it is evidence that you were never ordinary. You were always destined to be extraordinary, and heaven's whisper will not let you forget it. Do not measure yourself by the standards of men. Their vision is short, but heaven's vision over you is eternal. You are marked by something they cannot see, and this mark cannot be removed. No matter how the world tries to define you, every season of waiting, every tear shed in silence, every hidden battle has been preparing you for the unveiling of what was written before the beginning. The whisper of your name was not a fleeting sound, it was the eternal decree of God. Stand assured, the same God who marked you before time will also bring you into the fullness of that destiny. Nothing can silence what heaven has already proclaimed over your life. You know the sound of rejection too well. It has followed you through classrooms, friendships, workplaces, and even family gatherings. They looked at you, but did not see you. They listened to you, but did not hear you. Their eyes passed over you as if you were invisible. Yet, deep within, you always knew you were carrying something greater than what they could recognize. Rejection was never meant to destroy you. It was heaven's signpost confirming that you were chosen. Every time you were pushed aside, heaven was pulling you closer. Every time someone dismissed you, God was affirming you. And every tear you shed in silence has watered the very soil of your destiny. You have been misunderstood, not because you are broken, but because you are marked with a language only heaven understands. People cannot always interpret what is written on your life, so they label it strange, unnecessary, or too much. But what if I told you this? Your rejection is your evidence. It is the proof that you do not belong to the crowd. You are not meant to blend in with the masses. You are the one who carries fire in your bones, light in your spirit, and authority in your steps. You were never meant to be accepted everywhere because the places that rejected you could not contain you. Look back at the places that tried to limit you. Look back at the moments when they said you were not enough. Did you notice that those were the very moments God was shaping resilience inside you? You were being trained not to rely on applause, not to live for recognition, but to walk boldly in your divine identity. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah, chapter 53, verse 3. He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain. Like one from whom people hide their faces, he was despised, and we held him in low esteem. If the Son of God himself endured rejection, then yours is not a curse, it is a crown in disguise. You are walking the same path of those whom heaven has chosen. Rejection refined you. It separated you from the ordinary and set you apart for the extraordinary. It stripped away your dependency on human approval and rooted your confidence in God alone. Now, when the enemy tries to whisper that you are unwanted, you can stand tall and declare, I am chosen, and rejection cannot rewrite heaven's decree. I know thee. This is your reminder. The pain you carried has been turned into power. Every silent night became the classroom where heaven whispered your true identity. The people who walked away left room for the presence of God to draw nearer, and the emptiness you felt has been filled with authority that shakes the unseen. Now, I call you to respond. Type these words in the comments. I rise. Do not type them as empty letters on a screen, but as a prophetic act. When you write them, you are declaring that rejection has no power to hold you down. You are proclaiming to heaven and to earth that you are stepping into your identity, rising above the opinions of men, and aligning with the whisper of God's eternal counsel. Rejection was never your ending, it was the beginning of your rise. And your rise is only just beginning. You must understand this. Rejection has been your tutor. It has taught you to hear the voice of God more clearly than the applause of men. When people turned their backs, heaven leaned in closer. When doors shut in your face, God began to whisper, strategies only you could carry. Without rejection, you may never have learned to rely fully on Him. Think of the seasons where silence surrounded you. No encouragement, no affirmation. Just the weight of being misunderstood. In those very moments, heaven was training your spirit to find strength in the unseen. If you had been celebrated by everyone, you might have lost sight of the higher calling that set you apart. Rejection was the tool God used to separate you from noise so that His whisper could reach you. Rejection also removed false attachments. You may have thought certain people or places were essential to your journey, but when they left, you discovered you could still stand. Their absence made room for God's presence to fill the void. You are stronger, lighter, and freer because rejection cut away what could not carry the weight of your destiny. And do not miss this, rejection sharpened your discernment. It trained you to recognize who is truly for you and who only pretends to be. Now, when new connections come, you can see beyond appearances. You know the difference between genuine alignment and disguised opposition. This wisdom is a treasure that only comes through the pain of being rejected. Lift your eyes and see how rejection has shaped you into a warrior. The tears you shed were not wasted. They became oil for your anointing. The nights you thought were empty were actually holy ground, where heaven fortified your spirit. Every scar is evidence not of defeat, but of survival. Proof that you were preserved for greater things. Now hear this clearly. Rejection will not follow you forever. It was never meant to be your permanent identity. It was only a stage in your preparation. There is a shift coming, where the same world that dismissed you will have to witness your rise. And when that moment comes, you will not rise with bitterness, but with power, humility, and authority that only heaven could give. So do not fear rejection anymore. It has already done its work. It has already shaped you. It has already confirmed you. Now you walk with clarity, knowing that the one who whispered your name in heaven's council has also stamped His approval on your life. Chosen one. Your rejection has become your revelation. You now see clearly that you were never overlooked. You were always set apart. Your very existence is a contradiction to darkness. You do not even need to open your mouth before the unseen realms recognize the mark upon you. The air shifts when you enter a place, and though you may not always feel it, the spirit world does. You have been carrying a light that terrifies darkness since the moment you were set apart in eternity. This light has nothing to do with physical appearance, popularity, or social influence. It is deeper, older, and unshakable. It is the radiance of being chosen, a reflection of heaven's whisper etched into your spirit. You were not given this light because of your perfection, but because of your identity. It is not earned, it is inherited. You bear it because heaven spoke your name and clothed you with purpose before you could even form words. That is why environments change around you. Have you noticed how some people grow restless when you are near? It is not you they are reacting to, but the light you carry. Darkness is unsettled by exposure. The lies it feeds on cannot survive when you walk into the room, because your presence alone disrupts the shadows. You were designed to carry that kind of weight, to be the one who reveals truth without needing to force it. And yet, there have been times you questioned why you repel certain people or why friendships fall apart without explanation. The answer lies in the realm unseen. Your light reveals what others try to hide. Some cannot remain comfortable in your presence because the spirit inside you exposes the compromises within them. It is not rejection, it is revelation. Your destiny demands separation from what would dull your light. This is why your battles have been intense. Light attracts resistance. The brighter the flame, the harder darkness tries to extinguish it. The moments when you felt surrounded by despair were not signs of failure, they were confirmation of your radiance. Hell does not waste its strength on the ordinary. The fact that you have been targeted is evidence that your light is effective. And the truth is, this light is not fragile. It cannot be smothered by shame, cannot be extinguished by sin, cannot be dimmed by accusation. Even in your weakest moments, the mark of heaven glows within you. You may feel small, but the light inside you shakes entire atmospheres. You may feel weary, but your presence alone testifies to God's victory. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 18, "The path of the righteous is like the morning sun, shining ever brighter till the full light of day." This is the description of your journey, not one of decline, but of increasing brilliance. Every step you take in alignment with God strengthens the light you carry. Consider this carefully. The enemy has known about your light longer than you have. He recognized the whisper of your name in heaven's council, and from that moment, he designed attacks to make you doubt it. But every assault, every temptation, every attempt to destroy you has failed. Why? Because light cannot be overcome. The darker the night, the more visible the flame. And now you are beginning to realize it. You are starting to see that the awkwardness of not fitting in, the discomfort of standing alone, and the constant sense of being different are not curses. They are confirmations. You cannot blend with darkness because you were never made for it. You are light, and light cannot disguise itself. This light you carry is not only for yourself. It is a weapon in spiritual battles, a torch for those lost in shadows, and a signpost that points toward God's presence. Others who are wandering will see it and find direction. Even those who resist it will know in their hearts that they encountered something divine when they met you. You have asked at times, "Why me? Why must I carry this?" But the real question is, who else could? Heaven chose you because your story, your scars, your resilience, and your faith have prepared you to hold this light without breaking. Others might misuse it. Others might hide it. But you carry it with the authority of one who has endured. Do not despise the weight of it. Yes, it sets you apart. Yes, it makes you misunderstood. But it is the very reason you exist. You are not merely surviving in this world, you are disrupting it. Every place your feet tread becomes territory exposed to light. Every word you release carries the vibration of heaven's decree. Every action you take reveals that darkness cannot remain unchallenged. Chosen one. Remember this. The whisper of your name in heaven was not only about destiny, it was about identity. You are light, and that light terrifies darkness. Do not shrink back. Do not cover it. And do not apologize for it. The world may not understand you, but the unseen world knows exactly who you are. Stand firm in this truth. Your light is proof of your calling, and your calling is proof that heaven has always been watching, always protecting, always guiding. What was whispered in secret is now being revealed. In your life, you are the carrier of a light that darkness cannot comprehend. This light within you is not seasonal, it is eternal. It will not flicker out with age, nor will it fade under pressure. The flame was ignited by the breath of God, and only He has authority over it. Every step you take into obedience fuels the brightness. Every act of surrender makes the glow more intense, even when you feel unnoticed. Know this: heaven sees the radiance you carry, and darkness recognizes the threat. Chosen one, you are the living evidence that light always wins, and nothing in creation can silence what God Himself has set ablaze in you. There are moments in history when heaven pauses, when time itself seems to hold its breath, and when all of creation leans in to listen. You are standing in one of those moments now. The atmosphere around you is shifting, and you can feel it in your spirit. Something is stirring. Something is unfolding. Your name has been whispered, and with that whisper comes an awakening, a stirring in the unseen realm that announces your mission is unfolding. Have you noticed how sometimes the air feels heavy, yet full of expectancy? That is the presence of heaven preparing to reveal. Imagine a seed beneath the soil, invisible to the eye, but swelling with hidden life. For months, it seems as though nothing is happening. And yet, below the surface, transformation is taking place. Suddenly, in the right season, that seed breaks through and reveals what it was always destined to become. You are that seed. Every silent prayer, every battle fought in secret, every tear shed has been watering what God planted in you long ago. And now, the atmosphere is shifting to announce your emergence. This is why the opposition has grown sharper in recent days. Darkness senses what heaven is about to unveil. When a soldier is promoted to a higher rank, the war against him intensifies. But the promotion is proof that the preparation has been completed. Chosen one, your shift in the atmosphere is heaven's way of declaring that your preparation has not been wasted. Look at your life for a moment. Can you see how events that made no sense at the time have been woven together? The heartbreak, the betrayal, the delays. All of these were pieces of a puzzle only heaven could arrange. They have brought you to this exact moment where the weight of your destiny is becoming clear. Nothing was wasted, and nothing was accidental. Every season carried you here. The prophet Elijah spoke, as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 18, verse 41. Go, eat and drink, for there is the sound of a heavy rain. This is where you stand now, the sound of abundance, of release, of breakthrough is near. You cannot yet see it fully, but your spirit knows it. You can feel the atmosphere shift with the weight of what is coming. But hear me well, what God is about to release through you is not only for you. Your calling has always been bigger than yourself. The atmosphere shifts because your life will impact others, families, communities, even generations you will never meet. When you walk in your assignment, others find freedom. When you carry your light, others see hope. You are a vessel through which heaven pours out its treasures to the earth. And this is why your response matters. This is why you must rise. Why you must not shrink back. Every act of obedience is a ripple in the spiritual atmosphere. Your yes to God causes someone else's chains to break. Your faith sets the stage for miracles in lives far beyond your own. Now, let me speak to your heart with gentleness. What is unfolding here is not just words on a screen. It is part of a greater movement of awakening. And just as a seed needs soil and water to grow, movements like this also need care and nurturing to flourish. If this message is stirring your spirit, if you feel the truth burning inside you, consider becoming part of the soil that helps it grow. Like a lighthouse standing firm against the storm, every small act of alignment strengthens the beam that guides others to safety. When you press like, it is as if you are adding another stone to the lighthouse, making the tower stronger and brighter for those lost in darkness. When you share, it is like sending out a dove with a message tied to its wings, carrying hope to someone who may be waiting for a sign they are not forgotten. When you subscribe, you are planting a tree whose fruit you may never taste, but whose shade will comfort souls who come after you. And if your heart feels moved to sow into this message, let it be as natural as rain soaking the soil. There is no pressure here, only invitation. Your giving is like pouring fresh oil into a lamp. It ensures the flame never goes out, but continues to burn in the darkest nights. Chosen one, the atmosphere is shifting, and you are part of it. Heaven whispered your name, and now the earth waits for your response. Stand tall in this moment. Breathe deeply. Know that every battle, every delay, every hidden tear has brought you here. And now, the whisper of your name becomes the roar of your destiny. The air is heavy with change. Can you feel it? The sound of rain is near. Your seed is breaking the surface. Your atmosphere is shifting because heaven has decided it is your time. The shift you feel is not imagination, it is alignment. Heaven is opening doors that no man can shut, preparing ground that no enemy can steal. This is why your spirit feels both heavy and alive at once. The weight is destiny pressing upon you. Do not fear the unfamiliar winds that blow around you now. They are not here to uproot you, but to carry your seed farther than your strength could. Just as a kite only rises when caught by the wind, so too will your destiny soar when carried by God's timing. And remember this, what begins as a whisper often ends as a thunder. The same name heaven whispered is about to be shouted through your life as testimony. All of creation will know you were always chosen, and the atmosphere was always waiting for you to rise. Inside you, there is a battlefield more intense than anything you have faced outside. It is the struggle within the tension between who you have always believed yourself to be and who heaven has declared you are. You know this struggle well, the quiet doubts that whisper when you are alone, the fear that your past disqualifies you, the heaviness that tries to convince you that you are not strong enough to carry what God has placed upon your life. Do not mistake this struggle for weakness. It is evidence of your crown. The greater the calling, the deeper the internal war. If your destiny were ordinary, your thoughts would not carry such weight. The fact that you wrestle within is proof that you are being shaped for something that cannot be carried lightly. Think of gold in the furnace. It does not resist the fire, it is purified by it. The inner battles you fight are not consuming you. They are refining you. Each moment of doubt pressed against faith. Each decision between fear and courage. Each night when you had to choose prayer over despair, these are the flames that burn away what cannot stay. And after the fire, what remains is not weaker, but stronger, clearer, more radiant. Your struggle has often made you feel unworthy, but worthiness was never yours to earn. It was given before your first breath. The counsel of heaven whispered your name, not because you were flawless, but because you were chosen. And chosen ones are not shaped in comfort, they are forged in conflict. There have been nights when you asked God, "Why is my heart so heavy? Why does it feel like I am constantly torn apart inside?" The answer is not condemnation, it is confirmation. Heaven is stretching you. The conflict within is heaven's classroom, preparing you for victories that cannot be taught in ease. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 34, verse 18, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Your brokenness has never pushed him away, it has drawn him nearer. Every time your spirit felt crushed under the weight of your struggle, he was closer than your breath, holding you together when you thought you would fall apart. The internal battles may have convinced you at times that you were failing, but in truth, you were being trained. You were learning how to stand even when the ground shook beneath you. You were learning to silence the lies of fear with the truth of God's promises. You were learning that the whisper of your name in heaven is louder than the shouts of doubt in your mind. Chosen one, do not despise your inner struggle. It is the soil where strength takes root. It is the proving ground where faith becomes unshakable. The crown that waits for you is not cheap, it is weighty, and your heart must be strong enough to carry it. This is why the battle inside feels endless. It is heaven preparing you to reign with endurance. Think of a bowstring pulled back tight. The tension feels unbearable. Yet it is that very tension that gives the arrow its power. You are that arrow. The pulling back you feel is not punishment. It is preparation. When the moment comes, you will be released with accuracy and force into the exact place heaven designed for you. And here is the truth you must hold on to. The struggle will not last forever. It is seasonal. It is purposeful. And it is producing something eternal inside you. Every tear shed in silence is watering strength. Every moment you choose faith over fear is adding weight to your authority. Every time you rise again after stumbling, you are proving to darkness that you cannot be broken. You are not alone in this. Many chosen ones before you have walked this same road of inner conflict. Even prophets cried out in despair. Even kings wrestled with doubt. Even apostles admitted weakness. Yet every one of them rose stronger, because the God who whispered their names is the same God who whispered yours, and his whisper does not fade. So, hear me now. The struggle within is not a curse. It is your crown in disguise. Do not run from it. Face it. Embrace it. Let it shape you, refine you, and teach you, because the day is coming when the battle inside will give way to peace, and the strength you gained will carry generations beyond your own. If this word resonates deep in your spirit, then seal it with a prophetic act. Comment the number 444 below. Do not see it as just digits, but as a declaration. I am being refined. I am being strengthened. I will not collapse under the weight of my crown. When you write it, you are aligning your inner struggle with heaven's purpose. Chosen one. Your heart may feel divided now, but soon it will burn with singular fire. The whispers of doubt will fade, and the roar of destiny will rise. The struggle within is temporary, but the glory it produces is eternal. The fire inside you may seem relentless, but it is not meant to consume, it is meant to reveal. What melts away in this season is not your strength, but the chains that tried to hold it back. The inner war you fight is loosening every tie that does not belong to your destiny. Think of a sculptor carving stone. Every strike seems violent, yet each strike uncovers beauty that was always hidden within. So it is with you. Each struggle, each pressure, Each season of breaking is heaven's chisel, shaping you into the vessel you were always meant to be. Hold fast, because the masterpiece is almost visible. The whispers of fear are being replaced with the sound of victory. Soon, you will look back and realize that the struggle within was the very birthplace of your strength. There are victories you do not know about, battles you never saw, and dangers you were spared from without ever realizing it. Your life is not an accident sustained by chance. It has been preserved because unseen hands have guarded you. Angels have fought for you in silence, defending you from assassins that never showed their faces. You are here because heaven made sure you survived. Think of the countless moments you crossed the street without looking, the nights when you fell asleep in despair, the decisions that could have destroyed you if they had gone differently. To you, they may seem like ordinary events or coincidences, but in truth, they were battlegrounds. The unseen realm has always been active, and angels have been positioned like shields around your path. The fact that you are still alive is evidence of this unseen protection. If the enemy had his way, you would not be here. If the plans of darkness had succeeded, your story would have ended long ago. But every plot, every scheme, every attempt was intercepted by the counsel of heaven. You were not abandoned, you were defended. The word of God declares in the book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 11, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." This is not a poetic image, it is reality. Your journey has been marked by divine intervention more times than you will ever know. You are still standing because armies of light stood guard when darkness tried to close in. Do you remember the accidents that almost happened but didn't? The sickness that could have taken you but didn't? The relationships that tried to destroy your identity but failed? These were not mere coincidences. Each was an attempted ambush. And each was stopped because you are chosen. The whisper of your name in heaven's counsel activated heaven's defense over your life. There are scars you carry that remind you of pain, but there are also invisible scars you never received because angels bore the wounds on your behalf. They fought battles in realms you could not see, and their victory is the reason you can still fight today. If you could glimpse the record of what has been fought for you, your perspective would change forever. And yet, notice this, not every battle was prevented. Some struggles were allowed, some pain was permitted, and some nights you did have to fight. But even then, you were never alone. Angels were not sent to remove every obstacle, they were sent to ensure you were never consumed by them. The fire you faced was not to destroy you, but to refine you. The enemy thought it would crush you, but heaven decreed that it would strengthen you. Your survival is not ordinary, it is supernatural. Every day you wake up is a testimony that you are still needed, still chosen, still part of heaven's unfolding plan. You were not meant to simply exist, you were meant to live as one preserved for purpose. Imagine a soldier on the battlefield, surrounded by chaos, yet shielded by comrades who take hits in his place. That is your reality in the spirit. Angels have stood between you and destruction, carrying the weight of wars designed to remove you from the earth. They know your value because they heard your name whispered in the counsel of God. This protection has not only been physical, it has been emotional, spiritual, and mental as well. There were days when despair tried to break your mind, when anxiety tried to steal your breath, when depression whispered that you should give up, but you did not. You are still here because heaven would not allow your mind to be stolen. You were shielded by unseen presence, kept steady when everything tried to unravel. Chosen one, do not dismiss these victories as small. The very breath you are taking now is evidence that you are defended. The plans against you were real, but they did not succeed. The traps were set, but they were broken. The weapons were formed, but they could not prosper. Lift your perspective beyond what you see. You are not weak for having been protected. You are precious. A crown has been reserved for you, and heaven has been guarding it. That is why your life has not ended prematurely. That is why your story is still being written. Your presence here is proof of something greater than survival. It is proof of destiny. God did not send angels to fight for someone with no future. The fact that armies have been dispatched on your behalf means that your life carries weight in eternity. You are not simply living day by day. You are carrying an assignment that has already required battles in the unseen. So the next time you feel small, the next time you question your worth, remember this: entire angelic armies have been commanded to fight for you. Heaven has declared that your life cannot be cut short, that your mission cannot be erased. You are guarded, not because you are fragile, but because you are vital. And now, knowing this, walk forward with confidence. The whispers of your name in heaven's secret council did not just release destiny, they released defense. You have been shielded, preserved, and carried so that the fullness of your purpose can come to pass. You are not here by chance. You are here because heaven fought for you, and heaven does not fight for nothing. Every breath you take is borrowed victory. Each step forward is testimony that unseen battles were already won for you. Remember this truth: your life has never been ordinary. You are living proof that heaven's armies stand guard, ensuring nothing can erase the purpose whispered over your name. Since your earliest days, you have carried the quiet awareness that you do not fully belong. The world has tried to mold you, to press you into its patterns, to convince you that blending in is survival. Yet every attempt has failed, because your spirit was designed for something different. You were never meant to fit in, you were meant to stand apart. This sense of being different has followed you everywhere. In classrooms, you felt out of rhythm. Among friends, you felt unseen. Even in crowds, a quiet voice inside reminded you that you were walking to a rhythm they could not hear. Others may have mistaken it for arrogance or strangeness, but it was the mark of heaven on your life. You are not built to echo the noise of the crowd. You are built to carry the voice of eternity. The enemy tried to twist this awareness into loneliness. He whispered lies. You are unwanted. You don't belong. You are less than others. But the truth has always been the opposite. The ache you felt was not rejection, it was separation. It was the evidence that you were being preserved from the common so you could walk in the uncommon. Look back and notice the friendships that fell apart, the opportunities that slipped away, the places where you were overlooked. All of it carried a hidden protection. God was shielding you from environments that would dilute your calling. He was separating you, not to leave you empty, but to prepare you for fullness. You may have felt excluded, but in reality, you were being enclosed within His purpose. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 21, many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. This verse explains your life. Your plans have shifted. Your paths have turned. But the purpose has remained unshaken. Even when you tried to fit into molds that were never meant for you, the hand of God redirected you back to your design. There is a reason your spirit has resisted conformity. You cannot be confined to the expectations of culture, because your assignment flows from a higher place. To try to fit in would be to suffocate the very breath of God inside you. That is why compromise has always felt heavier for you than for others. That is why sin's pull has always carried extra weight. It clashes violently with the crown you were born to carry. You are different. And that difference is not a burden, but a gift. It is what enables you to walk into darkness and release light. It is what makes your words pierce through confusion and speak directly to the heart. It is what allows you to endure storms that would have shattered others. Being different has always been your power, even when you mistook it for weakness. Do not despise your uniqueness. Do not look with envy at the ones who seem to fit easily into the patterns of this world. Their story is not yours. Their crown is not yours. Their journey is not yours. You are chosen, and chosen ones always walk a narrower path. It may feel lonelier, but it is sacred. Consider the eagle, while smaller birds gather in flocks, chattering and circling low. The eagle soars alone into heights others cannot reach. Its strength is not found in blending with the flock, but in embracing its design. So it is with you. You were not created to live at ground level. You were born to rise above. At times, the pressure to belong has tempted you to hide your light, to silence your voice, to bury your fire just so you could feel accepted. But no matter how much you tried, you could not extinguish what God placed within you. The whisper of your name in heaven's council branded you too deeply. Your identity is unshakable, and no mask of conformity can cover it. The day is coming, and even now it begins, when you will see that your difference was the very thing the world needed. What once made you feel excluded will soon make you a beacon. Your authenticity will heal others who feel misplaced. Your courage to walk alone will lead others out of their fear. What separated you will one day gather others to freedom. Chosen one. Embrace it fully. You never fit in because you were never supposed to. You are the interruption to cycles of compromise. You are the breaker of generational patterns. You are the carrier of light that cannot be contained by the crowd. Do not mourn what you lost by not belonging. Celebrate what you gained: clarity, purity, authority. These are the treasures of those who walk apart. And though the road may feel narrow, it is leading you into wide, open places of destiny. You have always been different because you have always been chosen. And chosen ones cannot be hidden among the ordinary. The very gaps you felt in belonging are the spaces heaven will use to release glory. Where others blend, you will stand out. Where others echo, you will speak original fire. Where others shrink, you will rise. What once felt like isolation will be revealed as consecration. Picture a lantern carried through a wilderness at night. The lantern does not complain that it cannot hide in the shadows. It shines because it must. And in shining, it saves. That is, you set apart. Visible, burning with light others may resist, but secretly need. So walk boldly in your difference. Let it remind you of the whisper of your name in heaven's council. You are not misplaced. You are divinely positioned. And soon, the very thing that once made you feel alone will be the reason many find their way home. Your voice has never been ordinary. When you speak, it carries a weight you cannot always measure. You have wondered why your words affect people so deeply, why conversations with you linger in the hearts of others long after they end. It is because your voice was designed to shake eternity. The whisper of your name in heaven's council was also a commissioning, a decree that your voice would become a weapon, a balm, a trumpet. Words are not just sounds. They are spirit. They are seeds. And when you release them, they carry power into the unseen. Some voices echo and fade, but yours is different. Yours carries authority. When you declare truth, darkness trembles. When you release encouragement, weary hearts rise. When you cry out in prayer, heaven responds. Your voice is not small, and it was never meant to be silenced. This is why the enemy has tried to choke it. This is why fear has tried to mute you. Shame has tried to quiet you. And discouragement has whispered. What difference do your words make? The truth is, your words matter because they are not only yours. They are fueled by the fire heaven placed within you. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 4, "My message and preaching were not with wise words, but with a demonstration of the Spirit's power." This is your reality. You do not need polished speeches or rehearsed phrases. What you carry is more than language. It is the Spirit's power flowing through your sound. Consider this. When you pray, you release arrows into the Spirit. When you worship, you open gates in the unseen. When you speak life over others, you water seeds of destiny planted in them by God. Your voice is both sword and song, able to cut chains and heal wounds in the same breath. The world may not have always valued your words. Some dismissed you. Some mocked you. Some ignored you. But heaven has always leaned in when you spoke. Angels respond to your declarations. Darkness shudders at your prayers. Creation itself recognizes the authority in your sound, because it carries the echo of the one who called you chosen. Think about how many times you stayed silent out of fear, and how heavy that silence felt inside you. That heaviness is the evidence of a gift withheld. Your voice was never designed for silence, it was designed for impact. The longer it is suppressed, the louder it will burn within you, demanding to be released. Do not underestimate the reach of your words. They travel farther than your eyes can see. What you release in secret may set a stranger free in another place. What you declare in your room may shift atmospheres in another nation. You are connected to eternity, and your voice is one of its instruments. Chosen one. Your voice shakes eternity, not because of its volume, but because of its source. It flows from the whisper of your name in heaven's council. It carries the weight of being chosen, the fire of being set apart, and the authority of being preserved. Speak, and let the unseen respond. Now take this moment to seal what you've heard. Comment, "I will speak." Write it not as empty words, but as a prophetic declaration. In typing it, you are silencing the lie that says your words do not matter. You are declaring that your voice belongs to God, and you will no longer withhold the sound of destiny placed inside you. Your silence was never your identity. Your voice is, and when you release it, eternity moves. Your voice is like a river. It may begin as a stream in secret places, but it gathers force as it flows. Every word you speak in alignment with heaven adds volume to its current. Eventually, that current becomes unstoppable, shaping landscapes, carving valleys, and refreshing dry places. That is the hidden power within you. Think also of the shofar in ancient Israel. It was not a beautiful instrument by appearance, just a ram's horn. Yet when blown, it shook nations, announced battles, and signaled victory. Your voice is the same. It may not always sound impressive to you, but when released, it carries frequencies that the spirit realm cannot ignore. The enemy knows it, and that is why he has fought to keep you silent. Your words are assignments. Each one is sent to accomplish a purpose. When you declare life over someone who feels broken, that word travels like a seed, planting hope that may bloom years later. When you pray for a situation you cannot control, those words rise like incense, moving in places your hands cannot reach. Silence, then, is not neutral, it is surrender. And you were not born to surrender. Even your broken words matter. Even when your prayers feel clumsy or your declarations feel weak, they still move mountains because of the one who empowers them. Heaven is not impressed with eloquence. It responds to alignment. The authority in your voice is not measured by grammar, but by faith. This is why it is vital to guard what you release. Your voice carries power both to build and to tear down. Speak life, not death. Speak truth, not compromise. Speak with the awareness that every sound is a ripple in eternity. You are not casual, you are chosen. So, the next time you hesitate, remember, silence benefits darkness. Your sound advances light. The moment you speak, the atmosphere shifts. The moment you pray, chains weaken. The moment you sing, heaven responds. Never again believe the lie that your voice is small. You are a living trumpet, chosen to announce freedom, to declare hope, to proclaim victory. The council of heaven whispered your name, and with that whisper came a charge. Release your sound. There is a covenant over your life that cannot be broken. It was not written in ink that fades, nor in contracts that expire, but in eternal words spoken from the throne of God Himself. Before you even knew His name, He already knew yours. Before you could love Him, He had already chosen to love you. This covenant is why storms did not destroy you, why darkness could not hold you, and why despair never claimed the final word. Think of a bride walking down the aisle. Her covenant is not found in the flowers, the music, or the garments, but in the vow spoken, binding, unshakable. In the same way, God has spoken His vow over you. He has declared that no weapon formed against you shall prosper, that His presence will never leave you, and that His promises over your life stand unshaken. And yet, you have faced seasons where it felt as though the covenant was silent. You prayed, but the answers seemed delayed. You trusted, but the doors seemed closed. Do not mistake the silence for abandonment. A covenant does not waver with circumstance, even when your feelings shift. The covenant remains. Even when you doubt, the covenant does not. Heaven's vow over your life is stronger than your weakness. The ancient words recorded in Romans chapter 8, verse 38 and 39 declare, "For I am convinced that neither death nor life, nor angels, nor powers, nor anything in creation separates us from God's love in Christ Jesus our Lord." This is the essence of your covenant. No separation, no distance, No condition can undo it. Chosen one. Do you see what this means? You have been walking under the shadow of a vow stronger than death itself. Every time you stumbled, grace lifted you. Every time you wept, His presence comforted you. Every time you felt empty, His Spirit refilled you. The covenant has not only preserved you, it has pursued you. Consider the rainbow after the storm. The clouds may be dark, the rain may pour, but when the light shines through, the colors appear as a reminder. The promise still stands. Your life carries such reminders too. The moments you survived, what should have ended you, the unexpected provision in your time of need, the strength that rose within you when you had none. All of these are rainbows painted across your journey, signs that the covenant has not failed. This covenant is not fragile. It is not like glass that shatters when dropped. It is like a mountain, immovable, unshaken, eternal. You may wander at its base. You may climb its slopes. But no matter where you stand, the mountain remains. That is your assurance. The promises of God stand taller than your doubts, stronger than your enemies, and longer than your lifetime. And because this covenant is so great, it invites a response, not out of fear, not out of pressure, but out of love. Just as a bride responds to a vow with her own, so too are you invited to respond to the vows spoken over you. When you align with it, your life begins to carry the fragrance of heaven's faithfulness into the earth. Now let me speak gently, from heart to heart. What you are reading now is not simply words, it is part of a covenant reminder. And just as rain must flow into rivers to keep the land alive, this message flows best when carried by many streams. When you like, it is as if you place one more star in the night sky, making the heavens brighter for those still wandering in the dark. When you share, it is like opening a window in a locked room, letting fresh air flow into a soul that has forgotten how to breathe. When you subscribe, it is like planting your roots beside a river, choosing to grow with a community that drinks from the same living water. And if you feel led to give, it is not obligation. It is like adding another log to the fire, ensuring its warmth reaches every shivering heart that gathers near. No one is forced, and nothing is required. A covenant is love freely chosen, and so is your response. Whether you place a star, open a window, plant your roots, or add to the fire, every act becomes part of the beauty of this journey. Chosen one, your covenant is secure. You do not walk alone. You do not walk unloved, and you do not walk unprotected. Heaven's vow is written over your life, and its fulfillment will not fail. Stand tall, for the covenant that carries you is unbreakable. The covenant over your life is like an anchor dropped deep into the sea. Waves may rise, storms may rage, but the anchor does not release its grip. You may be tossed, but you will not be lost. Heaven's promise keeps you steady, even when the waters roar. Think of a tapestry woven with threads of gold. From the underside, all you see are tangled knots and unfinished strands. But from above, the pattern is flawless, beautiful, intentional. This is your life seen from below, confusing at times, seen from heaven, complete and radiant. And just as the morning always follows the night, the fulfillment of covenant always follows the waiting. Darkness may stretch long, but it cannot cancel dawn. The whisper of your name in heaven's council was not a passing sound. It was the beginning of a sunrise. No power of hell can delay. So, walk in peace. The covenant is your foundation, your shelter, your assurance. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are carried by an eternal vow. Delay has been one of your greatest teachers. You have walked through seasons where every prayer felt suspended in the air, where every promise seemed far away, where your spirit groaned under the weight of waiting. And yet, though the answers tarried, you were never denied. The path of the chosen is never rushed, because the weight of their destiny requires a foundation strong enough to carry it. Think of the farmer who plants a seed. He does not stand over the soil demanding instant fruit. He understands that hidden beneath the ground, the seed is breaking, transforming, and preparing for emergence. The delay is not a sign of failure. It is the process of hidden growth. So too has your life been. Seasons of silence were not wasted. They were wombs where destiny was being formed in secret. You have looked at others and wondered why their paths seemed quicker, smoother, easier. Yet their journey is not your journey. Some are called to carry light loads, but you were called to bear a crown. Heavy crowns demand deep roots. Your delay is not God withholding, it is God preparing. It is written in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. This is your promise. What was spoken over you has a set time. Delay is not denial. It is divine timing, ensuring that the promise arrives when you are ready. And when the world is ready to receive what you carry, look back over your life. How many times did you want something sooner, only to realize later that had it come too early, you would not have been able to handle it? Blessings given too soon can crush rather than build. Opportunities outside of season can become snares rather than gifts. But heaven has timed your life with precision. Every step, every pause, every detour has been measured with eternal wisdom. Your waiting has trained you. It has taught you perseverance when quitting seemed easier. It has taught you faith when evidence was invisible. It has taught you to cling to promises when silence tried to steal them away. These are not small lessons. They are the very foundations of unshakable authority. Without the school of delay, you would lack the endurance needed for the weight of your future. Do not despise the pauses in your journey. They have been sacred intervals where God worked more deeply in you than any public breakthrough could. When others saw nothing, heaven saw roots growing deeper, character being refined, vision being clarified. Delay has been the womb of your destiny. Consider the eagle once again. Its wings are not ready the moment it hatches. It must be nurtured, strengthened, and tested until the time comes for it to soar. If it leapt too early, the sky would swallow it. If it waited too long, fear would paralyze it. The timing of its flight is crucial. So it is with you. Your flight has always been scheduled for the perfect moment. Chosen one, hear this. Not one day of your waiting has been wasted. Every sigh, every tear, every weary night has been collected by God. Your delay has not been a desert, it has been a training ground. And soon, the revelation will come. The appointed time will arrive, and the weight of your patience will break into joy. When the door opens, you will understand why others had to close. When the promise arrives, You will see why the silence had to last. The glory that is coming will outweigh the pain of every delay. So lift your head. The waiting has shaped you, not destroyed you. You are delayed, but not denied. Slowed, but not stopped. Stretched, but not broken. The whisper of your name in heaven's council still resounds, and it carries with it the certainty that your promise is on the way. Do not give up in the pause. The pause is where strength is built, where hope is purified, where faith is made real. Your destiny is not late, it is precise. And when it comes, it will not be small. But abundant, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. Chosen one. You are walking toward an appointed time, and when it arrives, you will see that the delay was not your enemy. It was your preparation. Delay is like the stretching of a bowstring. The tension feels endless. The pull seems unbearable. But it is that very strain that gives the arrow its force. Without the stretch, the arrow would fall short. The same is true of your life. The delay has been the tension required for a greater release. Think of clay in the potter's hands. If it is rushed, it cracks in the fire. But when shaped slowly, pressed carefully, and dried at the right pace, it becomes strong enough to hold living water. You are that vessel. The slow work of God has ensured that you will not break under the glory you are called to carry. And remember the caterpillar. For a time, it is hidden, cocooned in stillness. From the outside, it looks lifeless. But inside, transformation is happening. The waiting is the process of becoming. You too have been wrapped in seasons that felt silent. But heaven was reshaping you into what you were always destined to be. Your waiting has not diminished you, it has refined you. When the appointed time comes, you will not step forward as someone unprepared. You will rise as one who carries weight, resilience, and authority, born only in the school of delay. So embrace the waiting. It has been your training ground, your furnace, your cocoon, and when the whisper of your name unfolds in its fullness, you will see clearly. The delay was the very thing that prepared you for destiny's door. There are chains that have wrapped around your bloodline for generations. You have felt the weight of them in your family stories, in the struggles repeated from one generation to the next, patterns of fear, cycles of failure, whispers of shame. They seem to echo through the years, like a song that refuses to end. But here you stand, the one heaven has chosen to break them. You are not bound by what bound those before you. The chains must break, because the whisper of your name in heaven's council declared it so. Some chains are visible habits, addictions, destructive choices. Others are invisible silent doubts, hidden pain, the constant fear of never being enough. Yet whether visible or invisible, their grip has been real. You know it because you have wrestled with the weight of things you never asked for. You have carried burdens that did not begin with you, but somehow tried to end with you. Hear this truth. Your life is not a continuation of bondage. It is the interruption. The cycles that crushed others will shatter at your feet. The curse that tried to steal from your family will bow before your obedience. You are the one chosen not to endure the chain, but to end it. The Word of God declares in the book of Isaiah, chapter 10, verse 27, "In that day their burden will be lifted from your shoulders, their yoke from your neck. The yoke will be broken because you have grown so fat. The fatness is the anointing. the strength, the weight of God's Spirit resting upon you. This is why the chains cannot stay. They are no match for the oil poured over your life. Consider this: the same fire that fell on Mount Carmel did not just consume the sacrifice, it consumed everything that represented opposition. The anointing on your life does the same. It does not politely ask chains to loosen, it burns them away. It consumes what has consumed your family. It ends what was never meant to define you. And here is the mystery. The very chains that tried to silence you have been the training ground of your authority. You know the feel of them. You know the weight of them. That is why, when you declare freedom, it carries power. You are not speaking theory, you are speaking testimony. You have been there. And now you rise as a breaker, chosen one. The pain you endured is now the weapon you wield. The prayers you prayed in secret have shaken the foundations of those chains. The tears you cried in silence have watered the soil where deliverance now springs forth. You are the evidence that curses end and blessings begin. Lift your eyes beyond your own struggle. The freedom breaking through your life will ripple outward. It will not stop with you. It will touch your children, your children's children, and even those not yet born. Where others were trapped, you will walk free. And in your freedom, others will find theirs. You have asked, "Why me? Why must I fight what others accepted?" Because you are chosen. Heaven whispered your name. And with that whisper came a mantle to be the one who says, "It ends here." The enemy knew it. And that is why the chains felt heavier for you. But weight is not defeat. Weight is proof of destiny. Think of Samson, even bound. The Spirit of God came upon him, and ropes burned away like flax touched by fire. That is your reality. The Spirit of God rests upon you, and no chain, visible or invisible, can withstand his flame. So do not believe the lie that you are too weak. You are not weak, you are anointed, and the anointing destroys the yoke. It does not negotiate with it. It does not tolerate it. It destroys it completely. The chains must break, and they will. You will rise from this season not carrying the residue of bondage, but carrying the authority of one who overcame. You will no longer fear the past repeating itself. You will no longer expect failure. You will no longer inherit shame. You are stepping into a new lineage, the lineage of the chosen, the redeemed, the crowned. And now, I call you to respond in faith. Comment the number 555 below. Do not see it as mere numbers. See it as a prophetic act, declaring, "Grace is upon me. Chains are breaking. A new chapter is beginning." When you type it, you are aligning your spirit with the decree of heaven's counsel. You are sealing this moment, not with silence, but with declaration. Remember this: the chains were real, but so is your freedom. What bound others cannot bind you. What destroyed others cannot destroy you. What silenced others cannot silence you. The whisper of your name in heaven's counsel has declared it. The chains must break, and they already are. Chosen one. Step forward. The sound of breaking is in the air. You are the evidence of freedom, the testimony of deliverance, the proof that God's anointing destroys every yoke. Walk boldly. The chains that once defined you will soon be nothing more than shattered remnants at your feet. The sound of chains breaking is not just for your ears, it echoes into the unseen realm. Every shackle that falls from you sends a signal to darkness that its claim has ended. The enemy cannot argue with freedom. Once chains break, they cannot be reforged. Understand this. Freedom is not only the absence of bondage, it is the presence of authority. When you walk unchained, you do not simply enjoy liberty, you carry keys. You become one who unlocks doors for others, one who points to paths they never saw before. Your testimony will be the hammer that shatters more chains. The places where you once felt trapped will become platforms where you release others. What the enemy used to destroy you will become the very thing God uses to deliver many. Fire is both feared and misunderstood. To some, it looks like destruction. To others, it is warmth and light. Yet in the hands of heaven, fire is always refinement. You have walked through seasons that felt like flames pressing against every part of your soul. Trials seemed unrelenting, the heat unbearable, and the weight of affliction almost too much to endure. But none of it was designed to consume you. It was all meant to purify you. The refining fire is not punishment, it is preparation. Just as gold is placed into the furnace, not because it is worthless, but because it is valuable, so too have you been placed into the heat of trial. The goldsmith never wastes fire on dust. He uses fire on what carries worth. The intensity of your struggles is not evidence of your weakness, but of your value in heaven's sight. You may ask, why did I have to face so much? Why did the flames feel hotter for me than for others? The answer is not cruelty, but calling. Those chosen for greater responsibility must endure deeper refinement. Fire burns away what is temporary, so that only what is eternal remains. It strips off the layers of fear, doubt, pride, and compromise until your life reflects the image of the one who chose you. The voice of God thundered in the book of Zechariah, chapter 13, verse 9. This third I will put into the fire. I will refine them like silver and test them like gold. They will call on my name, and I will answer them. I will say, they are my people. And they will say, the Lord is our God. This is your story. You have been placed in fire, not to be destroyed, but to be refined, tested, and affirmed as God's own. Think of a diamond deep in the earth. Pressure and heat, over time, transform ordinary carbon into something radiant, unbreakable, and priceless. Without pressure, the diamond remains hidden, its potential unrealized. The same is true of you. The weight you carried was heaven's process of revealing the radiance within you. At times, the flames seemed merciless. You lost things you thought you could never live without. People walked away. Opportunities collapsed. Dreams were delayed. And in those moments, it felt as though the fire had consumed too much. But look closer. What remained after the fire was purer, stronger, truer than what was lost. The fire never took what was essential. It only removed what could not endure the weight of your calling. The refining fire has also taught you endurance. You learned how to stand when the ground beneath you shook. You learned how to worship when your heart felt broken. You learned how to keep walking when everything in you wanted to stop. These are not small lessons. They are the marks of one who has endured fire and emerged refined. And now, because you have been through the fire, you carry an authority others do not. People who have never been tested may speak of faith, but you embody it. You can look into the eyes of someone suffering and say, I understand, because you do. You can tell the brokenhearted that they will rise, because you did. Fire has turned your story into a testimony and your scars into authority. There is also beauty in knowing that the fire has boundaries. Just as the 3 Hebrew men in Babylon walked in flames without being consumed, so too have you been preserved. You may smell the smoke, but you do not carry its residue. The fire refined you, but it did not destroy you. That is the mystery of being chosen. The same flames that would consume another only purify you. Your refining has not been wasted. Every tear was a drop of water cooling the heat at just the right time. Every prayer was a shield that kept you standing. Every promise of God became an anchor in the furnace. The fire has passed, but the purity it produced remains forever. Chosen one, you carry the fragrance of refinement. Others may not understand why you radiate such resilience, why your words cut so deeply, why your presence feels so weighty. It is because you have walked through fire and survived. Heaven trusted you with heat because heaven trusted your value. Do not resent the flames that shaped you. Thank God for them. They have prepared you for places of influence, authority, and service that comfort could never have built. You are not fragile, you are forged. You are not ordinary, you are refined. And here is the promise: fire always precedes glory. Just as dawn follows the night, glory follows the furnace. You will not live forever in the flames. You are stepping into a season where what was tested will now shine. The reflection of your endurance, your purity, and your resilience will reveal God's glory to those around you. So stand tall. Remember the fire, but do not fear it. What tried to destroy you became your teacher. What pressed you became your purifier. What burned you became your testimony. And now, you emerge, not weaker, but radiant, marked as one who belongs to God, refined by His fire. The glow you carry now is not borrowed, it is born from within. Fire has etched resilience into your spirit, leaving you with a strength that cannot be faked. Others may question how you survived, but you know the truth. The flames refined you into who you were always meant to be, like pottery hardened in the kiln. You are no longer fragile. What once could have broken you now bounces harmlessly away. The refining fire has sealed you with endurance. You are not just a survivor of the furnace, you are the testimony that God walks with His chosen ones, even in the hottest flames. There are strategies hidden in your spirit that the world has never seen. You may not have always recognized them, but they are there, blueprints designed in heaven, whispered into your being before you ever took your first breath. These are not ordinary ideas or fleeting dreams. They are eternal plans entrusted to you because your name was spoken in heaven's council. You have felt it, haven't you? That inner stirring when you see injustice, that quiet fire when you encounter brokenness, that relentless sense that there must be more. These stirrings are not random emotions. They are clues to the blueprint you carry. Others may walk past problems and see nothing, but you cannot ignore them. That discomfort is not weakness, it is calling. From childhood, you have sensed that your perspective was different. You saw things others overlooked. You questioned what others accepted. You felt burdened by realities that didn't seem to bother anyone else. This is because you were holding pieces of heaven's design, fragments of a plan that needed someone bold enough to carry them into the earth. You are that someone, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old. The book of Exodus, chapter 31, verse 3. And I have filled him with the Spirit of God, with wisdom, with understanding, with knowledge, and with all kinds of skills. This is not only about Bezalel, the craftsman called to build the tabernacle. It is about every chosen one who carries divine blueprints. The Spirit of God imparts wisdom, knowledge, and creativity to accomplish what human ability alone never could. The strategies you carry are not for personal gain, they are for kingdom advancement. They are solutions to problems others cannot solve, answers to prayers others have long forgotten, light for places long left in shadow. Do not underestimate the weight of this. To carry a heavenly blueprint is to hold responsibility for transformation. You may not yet see the full picture, and that is intentional. Blueprints are not always revealed all at once. The architect of eternity shows them piece by piece, ensuring that you walk by faith and not by sight. Each step of obedience unlocks another page of the design. Each moment of trust reveals another detail. Consider Noah. He had never seen rain, yet he was entrusted with the blueprint for an ark. His obedience seemed foolish to the world, but it preserved humanity. Or Joseph, who carried blueprints in the form of dreams. His journey into slavery and prison seemed like loss, yet it positioned him to release strategies that saved nations from famine. What they carried was not for themselves, but for generations. The same is true for you. Your life has been uniquely prepared for this. Every trial you endured, every lesson you learned, every season you survived has given you tools for the blueprint you hold. Nothing has been wasted. Even the painful chapters have been transformed into wisdom, where others only see scars. You see maps, directions that guide you toward your purpose. Do not be surprised if others do not understand the vision you carry. Blueprints are not meant for every eye. They require interpretation, discernment, and patience. Some may dismiss your ideas as impossible, too radical, or unnecessary. But remember, those who laughed at Noah's Ark drowned in the very waters he was prepared for. Those who doubted Joseph's dreams bowed before the reality they foretold. Chosen one, guard the blueprint entrusted to you. Protect it from voices that would distort it, from distractions that would delay it, from fear that would silence it. At the same time, nurture it, feed it with prayer, strengthen it with obedience, align it with God's word. The more you walk in intimacy with Him, the clearer the details will become. You were not chosen to replicate what has already been done. You were chosen to build what has never been built. This is why you often feel restless in systems that settle for tradition. You were not made to maintain old structures. You were called to pioneer new ones. The discomfort you feel in old wineskins is confirmation that you were created for new wine. And here is the beauty of it. The blueprint you carry is not only for building structures, but also for building people. You will speak words that awaken dormant gifts. You will create environments where others thrive. You will release strategies that heal families, restore communities, and shift atmospheres. The blueprint is bigger than you. It is designed to ripple far beyond your lifetime. Understand this. Carrying a heavenly blueprint is both privilege and burden. It will set you apart. It will cost you comfort. It will demand courage. But it will also fill you with joy, because there is nothing more fulfilling than walking in alignment with the design of heaven. Look back at your life. The moments where you felt most alive, most in step with who you were created to be, were not random. They were glimpses of the blueprint breaking through. They were reminders that you were never walking blind. Heaven has always been guiding you, always unveiling piece by piece, always proving that you are part of something far greater than yourself. The time is coming when what was hidden will be revealed. The pages of the blueprint will no longer remain folded. You will begin to see how every thread of your life has been woven into the design, and when it unfolds, it will not only make sense to you, it will testify to everyone around you that this was always the plan of God. Chosen one. You are walking with strategies written in eternity's ink. The whisper of your name in heaven's council was not just a declaration of identity, it was an entrusting of design. Protect it. Carry it. Release it. For what you hold is not simply a dream, it is heaven's answer for earth. And when the moment comes, the blueprint within you will not stay hidden. It will unfold like dawn across the sky. Undeniable, unstoppable, and radiant with heaven's original design. Your very existence is disruptive to the plans of darkness. You may not have fully realized it yet, but every step you take in obedience sends shockwaves into the unseen realm. Hell has worked tirelessly to stop you, not because you are weak, but because your destiny carries the power to undo what it has built over generations. You are a destiny disruptor, a chosen one who shifts the atmosphere by simply rising into alignment with heaven's whisper. Think of a river that suddenly changes its course. Villages, forests, and entire landscapes downstream must adjust because of that shift. You are that river. When you walk in your calling, patterns that have lasted for years are interrupted. Cycles of despair break. Families that lived under shadows of fear encounter light. Even communities that never knew your name are affected by your obedience. This is why your journey has been resisted so fiercely. Darkness is terrified of you realizing who you are. It has tried to bury you in shame, distract you with battles, and overwhelm you with delays. But despite all of that, you are still here, breathing, standing, listening. That alone is disruption enough to prove that its plans have failed, and the disruption will only increase. The whisper of your name in heaven's council was not an invitation to live quietly in the background. It was a call to stand boldly, to become the kind of presence that shifts the atmosphere. When you walk into a room, your rise is a threat to every power that has held others captive. The Apostle Paul wrote in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 4, "The weapons we fight with are not of this world. They have divine power to demolish strongholds." You carry that power. Your obedience is not a small gesture, it is a divine weapon, dismantling strongholds that have stood for generations. Chosen one. Realize this. You were never meant to blend in. Your very design is disruptive. Where there is fear, you bring courage. Where there is despair, you release hope. Where there is compromise, you ignite conviction. You are the earthquake that rattles the foundations of lies, the thunder that interrupts the silence of despair, the flame that refuses to be extinguished. This disruption is not reckless, it is holy. It is not about destruction for its own sake, but about breaking what was false, so truth can reign. Your life is the tool heaven uses to interrupt the enemy's plans and redirect history toward redemption. That is why your steps matter. That is why your obedience cannot wait. And yet, as powerful as this truth is, it is also tender. For the greatest disruptions do not always look like noise or chaos. Sometimes they look like whispers in prayer. like small acts of kindness, like words spoken in love. The enemy trembles not only when you roar, but also when you kneel. The disruption you carry is not always seen, but it is always felt. Now I speak to you gently, with imagery that mirrors the depth of this covenant moment. When you, it is as if you plant a small seed into the soil of eternity. One day, that seed will grow into a tree whose branches give shade to weary travelers. When you share, it is like opening a door in a long corridor, allowing light to spill into rooms where people thought they would always live in darkness. When you subscribe, imagine you are setting up your tent in a great encampment, choosing not to wander alone, but to journey together with others who carry the same fire. And when you comment, even a few words, it is like writing your name in the book of testimonies, leaving behind a mark that says, I stood in this moment of destiny. Oh, none of this is obligation. None of it is demand. Like seeds, doors, tents, and books, they are choices that carry beauty because they are freely made. This is how disruption flows, not forced, but chosen. So understand this. The disruption you carry is not only about what you do in secret, but also about how you allow your life to ripple outward. Your alignment with heaven becomes a signal fire to others. Your courage becomes a doorway they did not know could open. Your testimony becomes a map for the ones who come after you. Chosen one. Walk boldly in this mantle. The whispers of heaven's counsel did not set you apart for silence, but for disruption. You will break what others could not break. You will rise where others fell. You will shine where others hid. And in doing so, you will reveal that the plans of darkness are fragile and the purposes of God are unstoppable. You are the destiny disruptor, and every step you take proves that heaven's whisper was not in vain. And remember this, disruption does not mean chaos, it means alignment. When lightning splits the sky, it does not destroy the heavens, it illuminates them. In the same way, your life does not create disorder, but clarity. You reveal the difference between shadow and light, between counterfeit and true. Think of a seed cracking open in the soil. To the untrained eye, it looks like breaking, but in truth, it is becoming. The disruption is the moment of transformation. So it is with you. The breaking in your life was never to diminish you, but to reveal what heaven planted from the start. Chosen one, do not fear the weight of being different. Your disruption is heaven's design, and through it, generations will know that God still interrupts history with chosen vessels. Walk forward, not timidly, but boldly, because your steps carry the sound of destiny fulfilled. There are moments in a soul's journey when mercy stands like a watchman at the gate. It waits, it warns, it calls, but it will not linger forever. You have felt this in your spirit, the gentle tug to turn back, the whisper that says, do not cross that line. These warnings are not born of fear, but of love. Yet they remind you that there are boundaries in the spiritual realm, and crossing them carelessly can lead to blindness. Mercy's warning is not like the shout of an accuser. It is more like the tearful voice of a parent urging a child to avoid danger. It is tender, but it is urgent. Each time you felt conviction pressing against your chest, each time you knew in your heart, this is not the way. That was mercy speaking. It was heaven pausing your steps, redirecting you before the consequences could fall. But the truth must be spoken. Mercy does not wait indefinitely. It stretches wide, but it is not infinite. To ignore it continually is to risk becoming deaf to its sound. Scripture gives us sobering reminders of this reality. As the Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 7, verse 23 to 24. Obey me. Be my people. Walk in my commands. Do well. But they did not listen. They followed stubborn hearts, went backward, not forward. This is the danger of resisting mercy. Instead of advancing, one drifts backward, further from light, further from clarity. Yet even in this warning, there is hope. The very fact that you are hearing these words now is evidence that mercy has not stepped away from you. Heaven is still calling, still giving you space to align, still extending the hand of rescue. Think of a ship sailing too close to jagged rocks. A lighthouse shines to guide it, but the captain must choose to turn. The light cannot move the ship. It only shows the way. Mercy is that lighthouse. It illuminates the dangers. It points to the safe harbor. But the decision is yours. Chosen one. Understand this. The struggle you feel is not proof of failure, but of grace. If you were abandoned, you would not feel the tension. Conviction is not condemnation. It is confirmation that heaven has not released you. Each stirring of your conscience is a divine reminder. There is still time. There is still hope. There is still a path forward. Mercy's warning also carries weight for generations after you. Your decision ripple outward. Obedience not only preserves your destiny, it clears the path for those who come behind you. Likewise, rebellion does not end with you. It passes burdens to those who never chose them. This is why heaven presses so firmly. You are a gatekeeper, and your yes or no matters beyond your own life. Do not mistake patience for permission. Just because consequences do not fall immediately does not mean heaven is indifferent. It means mercy is still pleading. It means the Father is still waiting, longing for you to turn before the door closes. This waiting is not weakness, it is love stretched to its limits. But a time will come when choices crystallize, when the line is crossed, when the heart is hardened, when the voice of mercy grows faint. That is why the call feels urgent now, because the window is open. But it will not remain so forever. Chosen one, heed the warning, not with fear, but with reverence. The very weight you feel in your chest as these words reach you is evidence that God is still near, still longing, still ready to embrace. Mercy has not left you. It is standing at your door, knocking, waiting, pleading. Do not wait for tomorrow to open. Tomorrow is not promised. Respond today. In your heart, say yes while mercy is still speaking. Align your steps while the light still shines. Because the hour will come when the whisper grows silent. And silence is the most fearful sound of all. And yet, even in this, remember the heart of God. His warnings are always wrapped in love. He does not warn to terrify you, but to save you. He does not convict to shame you, but to restore you. Every pressing weight you feel now is not rejection, it is invitation. Invitation to walk forward, not backward. Invitation to rise, not fall. Invitation to live as one chosen, crowned, and remembered. The whisper of your name in heaven's council was not casual. It was covenant. Mercy's warning is heaven's way of protecting that covenant. And if you listen, If you respond, if you align, then the story written for you will not be lost. It will be fulfilled, in full color, in full glory, in the fullness of time. Think of a candle flickering in the dark. If the flame bends and wavers, it is not because it is dying, it is because invisible winds are testing it. Yet, so long as there is fuel, the flame will not vanish. Mercy is that unseen hand shielding your flame, ensuring it burns until the purpose is complete. You are not abandoned in your warnings, you are being guided. The heaviness you feel is proof that heaven values your destiny too much to let you slip away unnoticed. This is not the end of your story. It is the call to step into alignment before the window closes. Chosen one, honor the voice of mercy. Each whisper is an open door. Each conviction is a lifeline thrown into stormy seas. Do not harden your heart, because those who yield to mercy discover that what once felt like restriction was actually protection, and what once felt like fire was actually love. There is a kind of strength the world cannot measure. It is not found in muscle or in wealth, not proven by titles or applause. It is the strength born from weakness surrendered to God. You have felt fragile at times, aware of your limitations, conscious of your flaws. Yet even there, in the very place you thought would disqualify you, He has chosen to reveal His power. The Apostle reminds us in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 9. But he said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me." This is the paradox of being chosen. What looks like weakness to men becomes the very place heaven pours strength. You have carried burdens too heavy to lift on your own. You have faced storms that shook everything around you. And yet, when you look back, you realize you did not collapse. You were carried. His strength sustained you when yours was gone. His breath kept you alive when you felt you had none left. The evidence of your survival is not your own resilience alone. It is the overflow of divine strength hidden in your weakness. Think of a clay jar, fragile and easily broken. By itself, it seems ordinary. Yet, when it carries treasure inside, its value surpasses gold. You are that jar, fragile in form, yet filled with eternal treasure. What others see as cracks are actually places where His light shines through. The very things you thought would ruin your testimony are now the places His glory is revealed most clearly. This is why you cannot despise your weakness. It has trained you to depend, to lean, to rest in the arms of the one who chose you. Without it, you might have believed the lie that you could sustain yourself. But your weakness has been a tutor, teaching you the truth that strength is borrowed, not earned. The world celebrates independence, but heaven celebrates surrender. Your crown is not given because you never struggled, but because, in your struggle, you refused to let go. Weakness did not destroy you. It brought you closer. It did not disqualify you. It qualified you to receive strength from above. Consider the tree that bends in the wind. To some, it looks weak, but it is the bending that prevents it from breaking. Its roots go deeper. Its trunk grows stronger. And when the storm passes, it still stands. You have been bending in your storms, not breaking. And every time you bent, your roots dug deeper into the soil of God's presence. Your weakness has also made you compassionate. You can look at the broken and not judge, because you know the taste of fragility. You can sit with the hurting and not offer empty words, because you remember how real the pain feels. This empathy is not weakness. It is the strength of one who has walked through fire and emerged tender instead of bitter. Chosen one. Understand this. Your weakness is not your shame. It is your testimony. It tells the story of a God who delights in taking fragile vessels and filling them with unshakable power. It proves that what you carry is greater than what you lack. It reminds you that you are not sustained by your own effort, but by the whisper of your name in heaven's council. So walk forward, not hiding your scars, but embracing them. They are proof of survival. They are the cracks where glory shines. They are the evidence that weakness does not end a story, it transforms it. You will never outgrow your need for Him. But this is not loss, it is gain. For the more you rely on Him, the stronger you become. And when the world wonders how you continue, you can say with confidence, "It is not I, but Christ in me, la, chosen one." The paradox of your life is this: in your weakness, you are strongest. For weakness surrendered is strength multiplied. And that is the testimony you now carry. Think of the wounded soldier who returns from battle. His scars may seem like proof of weakness, but to those who understand, they are proof of survival. Every scar tells a story. I went through fire and did not perish. I faced the sword and still stand. That is how heaven sees you. The marks you carry are not stains of shame, but medals of honor. Your weakness has also unlocked doors that strength alone could never open. If you had been flawless, you might never have prayed as fervently. If you had been invincible, you might never have sought His presence so desperately. Weakness carved in you a hunger that nothing else could satisfy. A hunger that drew you closer to the very source of your calling. And when others look at you, they will see more than just resilience. They will see a testimony. They will ask, "How did you endure? How did you continue when so much was against you?" And your answer will point not to yourself, but to the God who whispered your name. This is the mystery. Weakness becomes the pulpit from which His glory is proclaimed. Do not hide it. Do not despise it. Let your fragility become the canvas where heaven paints its strength. Let your broken places become wells where others can drink and be refreshed. Let your story of weakness turn to strength, become a beacon to those who still believe their cracks disqualify them. For in truth, the opposite is real. Your cracks are your crown. They are what set you apart. What make your testimony undeniable? What prove that God's power is alive in you? And the day will come when you will look back and thank Him not only for the victories, but for the very weaknesses that shaped your strength. There are moments in life when you sense a shift so deep that words barely capture it. You know what it feels like, the sudden weight in your spirit, the undeniable awareness that something greater is moving around you. This is not imagination. It is the alignment of heaven's timing with your journey. It is the sound of destiny drawing near. The seasons of wandering, waiting, and refining were never wasted. They were building you for this exact moment. Now the whisper of your name in heaven's council echoes louder, stirring the atmosphere around you. You may not yet see all the doors opening, but you can feel them unlocking. What was once delayed is now drawing close. The ancient words recorded in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1 declare, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." This is not merely a poetic phrase, It is your present reality. You are standing at the threshold where light breaks through darkness, where hidden promises begin to unfold, where long-carried burdens finally shift into breakthrough. Chosen one. Recognize the signs. The resistance you have felt is not a signal of defeat, but of nearness. Darkness presses hardest when light is about to dawn. The battles that intensified in recent days were not random. They were the enemy's last attempt to keep you from stepping forward. Yet here you are, unbroken, still standing, still listening. That alone is victory. Think of a pregnant woman in her final days. The discomfort grows sharper, the pain more intense, the waiting more unbearable. But this pain is not death, it is birth. The closer she gets to delivery, the heavier the contractions become. This is the season you are in. The groaning of your spirit is not the end. It is the sound of something new pressing into reality. Do not fear the intensity of this moment. It is heaven's way of preparing you for release. Every tear you shed, every prayer you whispered, every night you endured was a seed planted in the soil of eternity. Now those seeds are breaking through the ground, rising toward light, carrying fruit that will bless far more than just your own life. You have been hidden, but you were never forgotten. The silence of past seasons did not mean absence, it meant preparation. Just as a seed must remain underground before it bursts forth, you were covered until the right time. Now the covering is lifting, and the unveiling is near. But with this unveiling comes responsibility. The glory that rises on you is not for display, it is for impact. You are not being raised to shine for your own sake, but to bring light into places long trapped in shadow. The authority you carry is not ornamental, it is functional. It is meant to heal, to deliver, to awaken, to disrupt darkness and establish truth. This is why your obedience matters so deeply now. One small step of alignment can ripple into eternity. One act of courage can ignite freedom in countless others. One declaration of truth can silence lies that have lasted for generations. You are stepping into a season where even the smallest act carries weight far greater than you can imagine. Chosen one, I urge you, do not shrink back. Do not doubt the reality of what you feel stirring inside you. The whisper of heaven is clear. This is your moment to arise. The old season has ended, and the new one has already begun. And now, as a prophetic act, I invite you to mark this moment. Comment the number 333 below. See it not as digits on a screen, but as a declaration. I step into new beginnings. I align with the light rising upon me. I will not go backward. I will move forward into the fullness of my calling. And when you write it, you are not just typing, you are testifying. You are planting a signpost in the spirit, announcing to heaven, to earth, and to every opposing power, this is my moment. I will arise. I will shine. I will carry the glory entrusted to me. The number 333 echoes the rhythm of divine completeness. It reminds you that what God begins, He sustains, and what He sustains, He brings into fulfillment. When you declare it, you are standing in the center of that rhythm, aligning your steps with the eternal cadence of heaven. Think of a bell tolling in a quiet city. With each strike, its sound cannot be ignored. It reverberates through the streets, marking time, reminding everyone that something has shifted. That is what your declaration does. It rings out into silence, cutting through doubt, and proclaiming destiny. Chosen one. Your voice matters. Your agreement with heaven matters. When you type 333, you are more than a participant. You are a witness, a herald, a carrier of light who declares, "The dawn has come, and I will walk in it." End quote. The dawn you step into will not look like the shadows you left behind. The air will feel lighter, the vision clearer, and your heart steadier. For what rises with you is not just light, it is glory. Every place of confusion will become a place of clarity. Every unanswered question will begin to align as the pieces of your journey reveal their design. The waiting has not been wasted. It has become the soil of your unveiling. Do not be surprised if others notice the shift before you do. They will see the glow on your life. Sense the authority in your voice, and feel the weight of heaven in your presence. For you are not merely stepping into a season, you are stepping into identity. The whisper of your name in heaven's council was always pointing to this. The chosen arise not by accident, but by divine decree. And you are one of them. There is a silence deeper than words. A silence you have felt in the marrow of your bones. It is the silence of God, the space between promise and fulfillment, between prayer and answer, between longing and arrival. Many fear this silence, believing it to be abandonment. But for the chosen, it is not absence, it is intimacy. It is the pause where heaven does its deepest work. You have walked through this silence before, nights when your prayers felt unanswered, days when the heavens seemed like brass, hours when you wondered if your voice was reaching past your ceiling. These moments pressed hard against your faith, tempting you to believe you were forgotten. And yet, you were not. For silence is not neglect, it is preparation. The psalmist wrote in the book of Psalms, chapter 27, verse 14, "Wait for the Lord, be strong, and take heart, and wait for the Lord." Waiting is not empty. It is the soil in which strength grows, the furnace where endurance is forged. In silence, God is not inactive. He is aligning circumstances, shaping hearts, and refining your spirit for what is to come. Think of a seed again, buried beneath the ground. From above, there is nothing but stillness, no movement, no sign of life. But beneath the soil, roots are spreading, cells dividing, life surging forward, unseen. Silence is the soil of your destiny, though nothing seemed to move on the surface. Below, heaven was preparing you for the breakthrough. Silence has also been your teacher. It taught you to discern between noise and truth, between fleeting voices and eternal word. When others were distracted by clamor, you were being trained to recognize the faintest whisper of heaven. This sensitivity is now your gift. You hear what others miss because you endured what others fled. Chosen one. Do not despise the silence. It has been your sanctuary. Without it, you may never have discovered the depth of your own spirit. Without it, you may never have realized that God's presence is not always loud or dramatic, but often still and steady. Like a river flowing underground, silence strips away illusions. It removes the applause of men, the noise of distraction, the false comfort of constant activity. In its emptiness, you are left with raw reality, yourself and your God. This is where your roots were anchored. This is where your faith matured. This is where your destiny gained weight. Consider the life of Elijah. After fire fell on Mount Carmel, After the dramatic victory, he fled into despair. There, in Akabe, he sought God, and God did not appear in the earthquake, the wind, or the fire. He came in a gentle whisper. Silence was the stage for his presence. So it is with you. The silence you feared was the very place where his whisper became clearest. The silence has also preserved you. Had your prayers been answered too quickly, you may have been destroyed by the very blessings you longed for. Delay was mercy. Quiet was protection. The silence slowed you, anchored you, and made you strong enough to carry the weight of what is coming. This is the paradox. Silence feels like emptiness, but it is fullness in disguise. It feels like distance, but it is intimacy deeper than touch. It feels like delay, but it is timing perfected. Your life is proof that silence is not the end of the story. It is the chapter where endurance is written. And now, as you look back, you can see it more clearly. The times you thought nothing was happening were the very times heaven was most active. The nights you thought you were alone were the nights angels stood closest. The moments you thought were wasted were the moments you were being refined for this hour. Chosen one. Embrace the silence as part of your journey. It is the hidden womb where God shapes his chosen. It is the canvas where he paints without noise, the forge where he crafts without spectacle. The silence was not empty, it was holy. Do not fear if you find yourself in it again. When it comes, remember what you have learned. Remember that silence is not rejection, it is invitation. It calls you to lean closer, to listen deeper, to rest more fully. For in the stillness, his whisper carries the weight of eternity, and that whisper has always carried your name. The silence has never been your enemy. It has been your proving ground, your training, your preparation, and because you endured it, you now stand ready to carry what others cannot. The silence you endured was also a filter. It revealed who around you truly belonged and who was only drawn to noise. Those who stayed when there was nothing to see were those aligned with your destiny. Those who left were only there for spectacle. In silence, false attachments fell away, and what remained was pure. It also birthed a depth of worship that cannot be taught by words. In silence, you learned to worship without music, without crowds, without applause. You discovered that worship is not performance but surrender. The songs you sang through tears in empty rooms rose like incense before the throne. More precious than the loudest choir, silence also sharpened your vision. When the noise of the world faded, you began to see more clearly. Dreams, strategies, and revelations emerged that could not surface in chaos. In the stillness, heaven handed you blueprints meant only for chosen ears, and because of this, you now carry a weight in your presence. People may not know why, but they feel it. The authority you walk in was forged in silence. It cannot be faked, and it cannot be stolen. It was given to you because you endured what others resisted. Chosen one. Never again fear the silent seasons. They are treasures in disguise. Proof that you are trusted with intimacy. The silence has shaped you. And what emerged from it is not fragile, it is unshakable. There are seasons when heaven does not merely whisper your name, it announces you to creation. You have walked through silence, through fire, through delay, and through chains. And yet, all of it has been leading to this, the unveiling. The chosen are not hidden forever. What was shaped in secret must one day be revealed. You are stepping into that moment now. Think of the dawn after a long night. Darkness stretches thin across the horizon, but the sun does not ask permission to rise. It climbs with certainty, is scattering shadows, filling the sky with light. That is what your destiny is doing, rising without apology, shining without restraint. You are not timid anymore. You are radiant, because heaven has decreed it. This unveiling is not only for you, it is for those who have been waiting in shadows, unaware that their breakthrough was tied to your obedience. When you rise, others see hope. When you shine, others remember light. When you walk in your calling, you remind others that God still keeps his promises. The Word of God declares in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14 to 16, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." This is the command and the invitation. Your unveiling is not about personal glory, it is about reflecting his light into the darkness of the world. Chosen one, you must understand the weight of this moment. The unveiling is not the end of your story, it is the beginning of a new chapter. You have been preserved for a reason. The battles you survived were not random, they were proof that something worth protecting lived inside you. And now, that something is about to shine. But even as you shine, the call is not to shine alone. Light multiplies when it is shared. A single candle is powerful, but when joined with others, it becomes a blaze that darkness cannot withstand. Your unveiling becomes an invitation for others to join the flame. This is why your connection here matters. The words you read are not mere ink, they are sparks. And when sparks touch fuel, fire spreads. When you, imagine you are adding your spark to this fire, making the flame higher and stronger for others still lost in the night. When you share, it is like opening a window in a darkened room. The light that enters may save someone who thought they would never see hope again. When you subscribe, picture it as planting your roots beside a flowing river. You are choosing to remain where life, strength, and refreshment continually flow, not only for you, but for all who walk this path together. Your engagement is not obligation, it is participation. It is your way of saying, I am part of this flame, I am walking this journey. I will not only receive light, I will help spread it. And though it seems simple, heaven delights in such acts. For even a spark given freely becomes part of a fire that transforms nations. Chosen one, take this in deeply. Your unveiling is not fragile. It is not a season that flickers and fades. It is a shift in the spirit, a permanent mark on your journey. You will not go back to hiding. You will not return to silence. You are stepping into visibility because your assignment demands it. Think of Joseph, hidden in prison, forgotten by men, but at the right time, his name was spoken in the courts of Pharaoh, and he was unveiled as the one carrying wisdom for a nation. Think of David, overlooked by his family, hidden in the fields with sheep. Yet the prophet's oil found him, and suddenly the hidden shepherd was unveiled as the anointed king. Their unveiling was not delayed, it was timed, and so is yours. The unveiling will not always look glamorous. Sometimes it will mean responsibility heavier than you imagined. Sometimes it will call you into places others avoid. But remember, the same God who unveiled you will sustain you. You are not being shown to the world to collapse. You are being shown to shine. Do not fear this moment. Embrace it. Step forward. Let your light rise. Not timidly, but boldly. For the unveiling of a chosen one is not just about destiny, it is about eternity. Your shine today will ripple far beyond your lifetime. And as you stand here now, reading these words, know this: the unveiling has already begun. You can feel it. You can sense it. It is not waiting for tomorrow. It is alive in this very moment. Step into it. Rise with it. Shine because of it. Chosen one. The dawn is yours. The unveiling is now. And the world will never be the same, because you chose to rise. Your unveiling is like a seed breaking through the soil. For so long, nothing was visible, but beneath the surface, roots were spreading, strength was forming, and life was maturing. Now, the breakthrough shows the truth. Life was always there. It is also like a curtain lifting in a theater. The audience may have waited in silence, but behind the curtain, preparation was underway. And when it finally rises, the story unfolds with power, beauty, and purpose. Your life is that stage, and heaven has scripted the scene. Your unveiling will feel like wind rushing through a valley. What was dry will suddenly be refreshed. What was still will suddenly move. You will sense momentum carrying you forward in ways you could not have created on your own. Do not doubt if you feel small compared to the weight of this calling. Light does not measure its size, it simply shines. And one spark is enough to ignite an entire forest when the season is dry. Chosen one, stand in courage. You are not unveiling yourself. Heaven is unveiling you. And what God reveals, no power can conceal again. There are doors in your life that no human hand can open and no earthly key can fit. They are ancient gates, guarded in the Spirit, waiting for the appointed one to approach. You are that one. The whisper of your name in heaven's council carried authority not just to walk paths others could walk, but to unlock places sealed until your arrival. This is why some opportunities never worked when you tried to force them. You pushed. You knocked. You even prayed with urgency. But the doors stayed shut. Not because you were unworthy, but because the timing was not aligned. Heaven guards certain doors until the moment your spirit is ready to step through, without compromise, without pride, without fear. The Word of God declares in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 7 to 8, what He opens, no one can shut, and what He shuts, no one can open. I know your deeds. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. This is your promise. When heaven opens, no force of darkness, no scheme of man, no shadow of doubt can hold it closed. Chosen one, understand this clearly. Your open doors are not fragile. They are sealed with eternal decree. The enemy may try to intimidate you with delay or distraction, but he cannot steal what was unlocked by divine hands. Your task is not to force doors, but to recognize them and walk boldly through when they swing wide. Think of Peter in prison, bound with chains, guarded by soldiers, yet in the night, an angel appeared. Chains fell, and the gates opened by themselves. That is the kind of unlocking. You are stepping into doors, opening without explanation. Breakthroughs arriving without striving. Pathways clearing where there seemed to be none. But this moment also requires discernment. Not every door that appears open is for you. Some are distractions dressed as opportunities, designed to pull you away from your true path. This is why intimacy with God is vital. His Spirit is the compass that tells you which doors are divine and which are detours. Chosen one. Do not fear closed doors. They are as much mercy as open ones. A shut door may feel painful, but it is often protection, keeping you from stepping into a place unprepared or into a path not meant for you. Trust the one who holds the keys. If he closes it, it is for your good. If he opens it, it is for your destiny. Your life will become a testimony of doors that opened at impossible moments. Doors in relationships, doors in provision, doors in influence, doors in understanding. Each one will stand as proof that heaven's timing is perfect, that you are not forgotten, that the whisper of your name carried real authority into the earth. And now, as a prophetic act of faith, I invite you to declare with your own words. Comment, "Doors open now." Do not type it casually. Write it as a decree over your life. When you release it, you are agreeing with heaven's timing, aligning your faith with what is already unfolding. You are planting a marker in the spirit that says, "I recognize my season of unlocking." Wilfont. This declaration is not magic. It is agreement, and agreement with heaven carries power. When you say, "Doors open now," you are not demanding, you are aligning. You are not commanding God. You are positioning yourself in readiness. You are saying, "I trust you to open what must open, and I will walk forward without fear when it does." Now, remember this. Doors are not just about access, they are about assignment. Every door you step through will carry weight for others, not just for you. Behind your obedience lies freedom for many. Behind your courage lies provision for those waiting. Behind your bold step lies breakthrough for generations. Chosen one. This is your season of unlocking. Do not hesitate at the threshold. Do not fear the unknown. Step through with faith, because the one who whispered your name is the same one who holds the keys. And when he opens, you will find that the room beyond is filled with light, purpose, and the very answers you have long prayed for. Walk forward. Doors are opening. Destiny is unfolding. And nothing can shut what heaven has decreed. Every open door carries an atmosphere with it. When you step across the threshold, you will feel the shift, the peace that confirms heaven's hand, the clarity that silences doubt, the joy that steadies your steps. These are not emotions that fade. They are confirmations that you are walking in alignment with eternal design. Do not confuse comfort with confirmation. Some doors will feel uncomfortable, stretching you beyond your limits, demanding courage you didn't know you had. Yet if peace remains in your spirit, even amidst fear, that is the sign. It is a true door. Comfort may soothe you, but peace sustains you. Learn to recognize the difference, and know this. Each open door is not only for blessing but also for responsibility. To enter is to accept the weight of what lies beyond. When Joseph walked through the door into Pharaoh's palace, he also stepped into the burden of feeding nations. With opportunity comes stewardship. Heaven trusts you not because the path will be easy, but because your preparation has proven you faithful. There will also be resistance at thresholds. Do not be surprised if fear rises strongest when you are about to step forward. That resistance is proof that the door matters. Breakthroughs always attract opposition. But opposition is powerless when the door is sealed by heaven. Let courage be your response, not hesitation. Finally, remember, every door you pass through enlarges your testimony. It will not only bless you, but serve as a map for others. When they see how doors opened for you, their faith will be stirred to believe for their own unlocking. Your obedience becomes their encouragement. Your courage becomes their confirmation. In this way, your journey becomes a legacy. There are mantles in the spirit, garments of authority, weight, and purpose that pass from one generation to the next. Some mantles fall when others fail to carry them. Some are preserved for those who will not compromise. And some are created new, woven by heaven for a chosen life such as yours. You may not see it with your physical eyes, but in the spirit. You are clothed in a mantle that carries both responsibility and glory. This mantle is not fabric, it is fire. It rests upon you because your name was whispered in heaven's council. It marks you as one who cannot live an ordinary life. Wherever you walk, the mantle speaks before you do. It carries authority that silences darkness and announces that you are set apart. The prophet Elijah carried such a mantle. With it, he called down fire, confronted kings, and shifted nations. Yet when his time ended, the mantle did not die with him. It passed to Elisha, who asked boldly for a double portion. The mantle became more than a symbol. It was a living transfer of power, destiny, and divine authority. You, too, are stepping into a mantle, one not earned by effort, but entrusted by grace. The Word of God declares in the second book of Kings, chapter 2, verse 13 to 14. Elisha then picked up Elijah's cloak that had fallen from him and went back and stood on the bank of the Jordan. He took the cloak that had fallen from Elijah and struck the water with it. "Where now is the Lord, the God of Elijah?" he asked. When he struck the water, it divided to the right and to the left, and he crossed over. The mantle was more than cloth. It carried the authority of heaven to part rivers and confirm identity. Chosen one, your mantle carries the same principle. It is not an accessory for display, but a weapon for destiny. It empowers you to do what you could never do alone. To walk paths others fear. To declare truth with power beyond your natural voice. But mantles are costly. They are not given for comfort, but for confrontation. To wear one means you cannot return to who you once were. You cannot hide in the background. You cannot pretend you do not know. The mantle demands responsibility. It calls you higher, presses you deeper, and requires your obedience even when it costs you. This is why your journey has felt weightier than others. You have carried battles that seem disproportionate to your stage of life. You have faced opposition that did not make sense. It is because the mantle on you drew attention in the spirit. Darkness recognized what you were clothed in, even before you did. That resistance was proof of your calling. Think of Joseph again. His coat of many colors was more than a garment. It was a mantle of destiny. His brothers hated him for it, stripped it from him, and tried to destroy him. But the true mantle was not in the fabric. It was in the calling. Even in prison, even in slavery, Joseph still carried what God placed on him. And in the end, no human hand could steal what heaven had decreed. So it is with you. Your mantle may have been misunderstood, even resented, but it cannot be removed by envy, betrayal, or opposition. What God has draped over your shoulders remains until the assignment is fulfilled. This mantle also connects you to others. You are not an isolated flame. You are part of a lineage of chosen ones, each carrying their garment of fire. Some mantles were passed down, others preserved, others newly woven. Together, they form a tapestry of destiny stretching across generations. Your obedience ensures that the pattern continues, that your children and those after you will inherit not chains, but crowns. But hear this: mantles grow heavier if neglected. To ignore it, to compromise, to hide in fear, is to treat lightly what heaven entrusted to you. Yet to honor it, to walk faithfully, to steward it well, is to see rivers part, nations shift, and lives transformed. Chosen one, do not despise the weight of your mantle. Embrace it, for though it feels heavy, it carries you as much as you carry it. It will sustain you when strength fails. It will remind you when doubt speaks. It will protect you when darkness presses. It is not only a calling, it is a covering. And in the days ahead, you will see this mantle confirmed. Signs will follow your obedience. Doors will respond to your presence. People will recognize the authority you carry. Even if they cannot explain it, the mantle will speak for itself, because it was woven in heaven's fire. Stand tall beneath its weight. Walk boldly in its authority, for your mantle is proof that you were whispered in heaven's counsel. Set apart not for ordinary days, but for extraordinary purpose. Your mantle is also a signal to the unseen realm. Angels recognize it and respond to its authority. Demons recognize it and tremble before its weight. The world may not always understand, but the spirit realm knows exactly what you carry. That is why battles have been fierce. But it is also why victories will be undeniable. Do not compare your mantle to another's. Each garment is tailored by heaven for its bearer. Elijah's cloak fit Elijah. Elisha's double portion fit Elisha. What you carry was designed for your shoulders, not anyone else's. Comparison will only weaken your confidence. Confidence in God's design will strengthen your steps. And remember, a mantle is not for display but for service. It is not worn to be admired, but to bring transformation. When you stretch it in faith, river part. When you lift it in obedience, burdens break. When you carry it with humility, generations are changed. Chosen one, the mantle resting on you is not a burden to crush you, but a gift to crown you. Wear it with reverence. Walk with boldness. And let the world see the reflection of heaven woven in its threads. There is a river flowing through your story, a current unseen but undeniable. Sometimes it has felt like a trickle, barely enough to refresh you. At other times, it has surged like a flood, carrying you faster than your own strength could move. This river is not random. It is the Spirit of God within you, guiding, cleansing, and sustaining every step of your journey. The prophet Ezekiel was shown a vision of such a river flowing from the temple. It began at the threshold as a shallow stream, then deepened step by step until it became waters. No one could cross waters that brought life wherever they touched. This is the same flow that has carried you. It began as a whisper, but it has been deepening with every season, preparing you to step into waters of fullness. Scripture declares in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 47, verse 9, "Swarms of living creatures will live wherever the river flows. There will be large numbers of fish, because this water flows there and makes the salt water fresh. So where the river flows, everything will live." This is not only a prophecy of Israel's restoration, it is a truth for every chosen one. Wherever the river flows in your life, death loses its grip and life takes root. You have seen this in glimpses. Times when your prayers refreshed weary hearts. Times when your presence shifted an atmosphere heavy with despair. Times when you yourself were strengthened in ways that had no explanation. These were the ripples of the river within you. They were signs that you are not dry ground. You are a carrier of living water. Yet rivers are not stagnant. They move. They grow. They change landscapes. So, it has been with you. The river has carried you into places you did not expect, pushed you past boundaries you thought were fixed, and washed away things you once clung to. At times, it felt like loss, but in truth, it was cleansing. The current was removing what could not remain if you were to move forward. Chosen one, you were never meant to live by wells others dug. You were not designed to survive on occasional drops of rain. You carry a source within you that never runs dry. Jesus declared in the Gospel of John that those who believe in him would have rivers of living water flowing from within them. That promise has been planted in you. It is why dryness never defined you, even in your lowest moments. The river stirred, whispering life when everything else spoke death. Do not despise the seasons when the river seemed hidden. In drought, in silence, the flow strengthens underground. What looked like barrenness was preparation for abundance. The river was not gone, it was gathering force, waiting for the right time to break forth. And now, the flow is rising. You can feel it a stirring in your spirit, a weight in your prayers, a freshness in your vision. The trickle is becoming a stream, the stream a river, and the river a flood. This is not for your sake alone. Rivers exist to bring life to everything around them. The anointing on you is not just to sustain you, but to heal, restore, and awaken those you encounter. Consider how rivers carve valleys, shape landscapes, and connect nations. They are paths of life, uniting places that would otherwise remain divided. Your river will do the same. It will carve new paths in your family, shaping destinies yet unborn. It will connect people, bringing reconciliation where division reigned. It will shift landscapes of despair into fields of hope. The river will also draw others, just as cities were built near rivers because life flourished there. People will be drawn to the life flowing from you. They may not understand why, but they will feel refreshed in your presence, strengthened by your words, awakened by your prayers. This is not about you, it is about the river you carry. And yes, rivers face resistance. Dams may try to block them. Deserts may try to swallow them. Enemies may try to poison them. But the flow of God cannot be stopped. It finds new paths, cuts through rock, and carries purity even into salt waters. Where the river flows, life wins. Chosen one. Embrace the river within you. Do not try to control it, for it is greater than you. Yield to its current, and it will take you further than your strength ever could. Trust its direction, and it will place you exactly where you are meant to be. For your destiny is not built on striving, but on flow. The whisper of your name in heaven's council was also the release of this river within you. It is both your supply and your sending, your refreshment and your mission. You are not a dry vessel, you are a living stream, and everything around you will live because of it. The river within you is not seasonal, it is eternal. Seasons of your life may shift summer to winter, spring to autumn, but the flow does not depend on external climate. It comes from a source higher than the earth, deeper than the ground. This is why storms did not destroy you and droughts did not end you. The river was always there, flowing, unseen, waiting to rise again. And as it rises, it will not only refresh, but also heal. The bitterness you once carried will be sweetened. The broken places you thought could never mend will be restored. Just as the prophet saw salt water turned fresh, the impossible will be reversed by the flow of God's Spirit through you. Chosen one, do not underestimate what this river can do. It will reach places you never step, touch lives you never meet, and continue flowing long after your earthly journey ends. For where the river flows, everything will live, and you are its vessel. There are moments in your journey where heaven marks a shift, a turning of the page so profound that even creation responds. You are in such a moment now. The whisper of your name in heaven's council was not only an announcement of identity, it was also a decree of transition. You have carried weight, endured silence, survived fire, and waited through delay. Now, the page is turning, and a new chapter begins. This transition is not subtle. It may feel like everything around you is shaking, like the ground you once trusted is no longer steady. But shaking is not always destruction. Often, it is the sound of foundations being tested so new structures can rise. What cannot endure the weight of your future is being removed, and what is eternal will remain. The ancient words recorded in the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 27 to 28 declare, "The words once more indicate the removing of what can be shaken, that is, created things, so that what cannot be shaken may remain. Therefore, since we are receiving a kingdom that cannot be shaken, let us be thankful, and so worship God acceptably with reverence and awe. This is the meaning of your season. The shaking is not your end, but your refinement into what cannot be shaken." Chosen one. Understand this. Transition is not always comfortable, but it is always purposeful. Caterpillars cannot remain caterpillars. They must enter the cocoon, and from it emerge, transformed. The cocoon feels like confinement, yet it is the chamber of becoming. Your discomfort now is not punishment. It is metamorphosis. You are being reshaped for the wings you will soon carry. Think of Israel standing at the Red Sea. Behind them was Egypt, the life of bondage. Before them was water, impossible to cross. They stood in transition, between what was familiar and what was promised. And in that moment, God parted the sea. What looked like an obstacle became the very path of deliverance. Your transition carries the same truth. What looks like the end will soon be revealed as the way forward. But transition also requires release. You cannot carry everything from the old into the new. Some relationships, habits, and mindsets must remain behind. This is not loss, it is alignment. Just as travelers lighten their load before a long climb, so too must you lay down what cannot reach the summit with you. This is why you have felt the stretching, the pulling away of things you once clung to. Heaven is not trying to strip you bare. Heaven is trying to set you free. What is eternal will remain. What is weight without purpose will fall away. And when you emerge, you will discover you are lighter, faster, stronger, ready for the journey ahead. Chosen one. Your transition is also about inheritance. You are not only leaving behind, you are stepping into. Just as Joshua led Israel across the Jordan into promise, so too are you crossing from survival into fulfillment. You are entering a season where what was spoken will begin to manifest, where the unseen will break into sight, where the whispers you carried will echo aloud for others to hear. Do not fear the uncertainty. Transition is the birthplace of destiny. The old cannot contain the new, and the unknown is where miracles unfold. What seems unclear now will soon reveal itself as order, purpose, and design far greater than what you imagined. And now, to mark this moment in the spirit, I call you to declare your agreement. Comment the number 444 below. Do not see it as mere digits. See it as a prophetic act, a seal upon this chapter. It is your way of saying, I embrace the shaking. I release the old. I step into the unshakable kingdom and the new chapter written for me. When you type it, you are more than a participant. You are a witness. You are testifying to heaven and earth that your life is aligned with this transition. The number becomes a banner over your journey, announcing to every power that you have crossed the threshold. Chosen one. Lift your eyes. You are not stuck. You are moving. You are not ending. You are beginning. The shaking is not loss, it is birth. And soon, you will see clearly what the whisper in heaven's council declared from the start. You are chosen for such a time as this, and nothing can stop what has been decreed. Step forward boldly. The page has turned. The chapter is new, and the story of your life is entering its most radiant lines. Transition is like crossing a bridge in the fog. You may not see the other side clearly, but every step carries you closer to what was promised. The bridge may sway, the fog may thicken, yet the foundation holds because heaven built it. You are not walking on chance, you are walking on decree. It is also like a musician tuning an instrument before the symphony begins. To the untrained ear, the sound is dissonant, even unpleasant. But the tuning is essential, because once complete, the harmony will flow beautifully. Your season of shaking and stretching is the tuning of your soul. Heaven is preparing you to release a sound that carries weight, resonance, and glory. Some may question why the transition feels so lonely, but solitude in this season is sacred. In the cocoon, the caterpillar is alone, yet it is in that aloneness that transformation occurs. Do not despise the solitude. It is the secret place where wings are formed, and when the time comes, the unveiling will be undeniable. There will also be tests in transition moments where the old calls you back, where the comfort of Egypt whispers louder than the promise of Canaan. But remember this, Egypt was bondage, dressed as security. The wilderness was preparation, not punishment. And the promise is worth every step of obedience. Chosen one. Every tear, every prayer, every act of faith in this season is seed sown into your future. When the fog lifts, you will see fields of promise waiting to be harvested. Transition is not a valley of loss, but a doorway of gain. Walk through it with courage, for the page has turned, and the story unfolding is greater than anything you have left behind. Every story told in heaven begins with a whisper, but it always moves toward a proclamation. What was spoken over you in secret is now echoing louder. You may not have chosen yourself, but God has chosen you. You may not have seen all the details, but the author has written them, and now, as the story unfolds, your voice, your presence, and your obedience become part of a greater narrative, a testimony that will outlive your days. Think of a torch passed from one runner to the next in a relay. The flame is never meant to die with one. It is meant to spread, to keep moving, to ignite the next. That is what you carry. You are not holding this fire only for yourself, but for others. And when you run faithfully, the path behind you lights up for those who could not see their way forward. Chosen one. Your very existence is a message. Your resilience, your tears, your victories, even your scars, they all speak. You are a living letter written by heaven. Read by those around you, whether you realize it or not. This is why your journey matters. You are not invisible. Your light, however fragile it has felt at times, is still undeniable. The ancient words in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14 declare, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Light was never created to be hidden. Fire was never meant to stay small. And your story was never meant to be locked away in silence. But here is the beauty. Your light does not shine alone. It joins with others, becoming brighter, stronger, and more enduring. A single candle can be blown out by a breeze, but 1,000 candles together can withstand the wind and illuminate an entire city. That is what happens when chosen ones join in unity, when your flame connects with others. And this is why your participation matters here. In this very moment, the story is not only about you, it is about us, about the collective rising of chosen ones across the earth. When you like, imagine you are placing one more star in the night sky. A single star might seem small, but when joined with thousands, the heavens become a map for wanderers. When you share, see it as carrying a cup of water to someone parched in the desert. You may never know their name, but your act could be the drink that revives their spirit. When you subscribe, it is as if you are anchoring your boat in a harbor during a storm. You are saying, I choose to remain here, in this place of safety and direction, so I can continue the journey with others. And these are not small actions. They are echoes of alignment, sparks of obedience, ways of adding your flame to the fire heaven is building. And they are always voluntary, never demanded, never forced. Just as light shines freely, so too does your choice carry its beauty when it flows from your heart. Do not underestimate what such acts can do. The simple gesture of a like is like lighting a lantern in a watchtower, helping someone far away see that hope is still alive. A share is like tossing a rope to someone drowning, pulling them closer to shore. A subscribe is like stepping onto a long road with companions, ensuring no one walks alone. Chosen one. Think of how your own life has been shaped. Somewhere, someone carried light for you. Someone prayed. Someone spoke truth. Someone shared a word that reached you at just the right time. Their small act became your lifeline. Now, you are invited to do the same for others. But beyond these outward actions, the greater truth remains. You are a living flame. You have been lit by heaven itself, and nothing can extinguish what God has ignited. Your flame terrifies darkness. Your presence shifts atmospheres. Your faith ripples through generations. And even when you doubt, the fire continues to burn because it is not sustained by your effort, but by God's breath. Do not fear your light being too small. Even a match can start a wildfire when the forest is dry. And make no mistake, the world is dry, desperate for hope, aching for truth. Your flame is not insignificant. It is exactly what is needed. So carry it boldly. Let it shine freely. Do not hide it. Do not diminish it. Do not compare it. The whisper of your name in heaven's council was heaven's way of saying, this light must not be hidden. This flame must burn. This chosen one must rise. And as you rise, remember that the fire you carry does not consume it, warms. It guides. It revives. You are not called to burn people, but to illuminate their way, to bring comfort in cold nights, to point them toward the eternal flame that never dies. Chosen one, this is your mantle, your mission, your beauty. You are a flame that cannot be snuffed out, a light that cannot be hidden, a story that cannot be silenced. Walk in it boldly, shine in it freely, and let the world see what heaven has always known. You were chosen to carry fire, and as your flame grows, it will become a beacon. Ships lost at sea find their way home by light from the shore. In the same way, your life will guide those who feel adrift, reminding them that they are not abandoned. Do not measure the worth of your fire by its size, but by its impact. Even the smallest lamp can chase away the deepest darkness. Even your quietest act of faith can shift someone's eternity. Chosen one, the flame entrusted to you is not fragile, it is eternal. Tend it with prayer. Feed it with obedience. Guard it with truth. And release it without fear. For in your light, others will find their courage to shine. There are crowns reserved in heaven, not made of gold that fades or jewels that lose their luster, but crowns woven from faithfulness, perseverance, and obedience. You, chosen one, are walking towards such a crown. Every tear, every battle, every act of unseen faithfulness has been recorded, and none of it is wasted. The whisper of your name in heaven's council was not just about surviving, it was about reigning. This crown is not like earthly rewards. It cannot be stolen, traded, or corrupted. Earthly crowns weigh heavy with pride, but heaven's crowns rest light upon the soul, because they are carried in grace. They are not given to the perfect, but to the faithful. And though you may not see it yet, the crown already has your name inscribed on it. The Apostle Paul wrote in his second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8, "Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who have longed for his appearing." This promise stretches across time and lands directly on your life. You are not running for nothing. You are not enduring in vain. You are moving toward reward. But the crown does not come without cost. Every weight you carried, Every temptation you resisted, every battle you fought, all of it was part of the process of shaping you into one who could wear it. Heaven does not place crowns on untested heads. Your trials were not evidence of abandonment, they were proof of preparation. Think of an athlete in training. Crowds may not see the sweat poured in private, the exhaustion, the discipline, the sacrifices. Yet the crown is not given on the day of training, but on the day of completion. So it is with you. The unseen discipline, the private prayers, the choices you made when no one was watching, all of these are part of your race, leading to the moment when the crown rests upon you, chosen one. Your crown is not a distant fantasy, it is a certainty. Every act of obedience polishes it. Every moment of surrender shapes it. Every time you chose light over darkness, it gleamed brighter. Even your scars contribute. For crowns are not given to the unbroken, but to the ones who endured and overcame. And this crown is not just for display, it is authority. It is recognition in the spirit that you have overcome what others could not. When you wear it, you do not just carry glory, you carry testimony. You become living evidence that endurance is worth it, that faithfulness is never forgotten, that obedience leads to reward. This is why you cannot lay down now. You cannot abandon the race when the finish line is drawing near. The whispers that tell you it is not worth it are lies. Every step is worth it. Every act of faith matters. Every ounce of endurance is shaping eternal reward. Think of Revelation's vision, elders casting their crowns before the throne. Why? Because the crown is not the final glory. It is a reflection of His glory. When you receive yours, you will know it was never earned by your strength, but by His grace. And the greatest honor will not be wearing it, but laying it before Him, saying, "You were faithful through me. You carried me. This is yours. Chosen one. This is the destiny you are running toward. Your life is not without reward. Your name was whispered in heaven, and your crown awaits its unveiling. Let that hope fuel you. Let it remind you, in weary days, that your story ends not in defeat, but in victory. And now, as an act of faith, I invite you to speak it aloud into the atmosphere of your life. Comment, "My crown awaits." Write it not as a dream, but as a decree. You are aligning with heaven's truth that your race has meaning, your endurance has value, and your crown is certain. When you release those words, you silence the lie that your effort is wasted. You declare that your pain is producing glory, that your faith is producing reward, that your steps are not in vain. You remind yourself and the unseen realm that you are not only chosen, you are crowned. So, walk forward with your head lifted. Endure the final stretch with joy, because the day is coming when the weight of sorrow will be exchanged for the weight of a crown. And that crown will shine with a light that no darkness can ever dim. The image of your crown is not a symbol to flatter you, it is a reality to anchor you in times of weariness. It reminds you that pain is temporary, but reward is eternal. The crown is not for those who never stumbled, but for those who rose again, who pressed forward despite the weight pressing against them. Think of a miner digging in darkness. For weeks, he may see nothing but rock. But each strike of the pickaxe matters, even when nothing visible shifts. The cracks are forming, and when the final strike comes, the treasure is revealed. So it is with you. Every act of faith is a strike against the unseen. You may not see immediate results, but the cracks are forming, and soon the treasure will break through. Your crown is also a reminder that heaven values differently than earth. Earthly crowns fade with time, but heaven's crowns grow brighter with every act of obedience. Earthly crowns exalt one above others, but heaven's crowns inspire humility, drawing worship to the one who gave the strength. When you wear it, you will not boast, you will bow, overwhelmed by the goodness of God who carried you through. So when you declare, "My crown awaits," you are not claiming pride, you are claiming promise. You are reminding yourself that the story does not end in ashes, but in glory, that every tear is being stored, every prayer recorded, every battle remembered, and when the day comes, your crown will tell the story of grace, endurance, and victory written over your life. Chosen one, lift your eyes. You are not just enduring, you are being prepared. The finish line is not far, and beyond it is a crown that cannot fade. There are battles you fought in silence, wars waged within the chambers of your heart, that no one around you ever saw. These hidden struggles did not weaken you, they forged you. They became the fire in which your endurance was tested, your faith purified, and your identity confirmed. While others saw only the surface of your journey, heaven watched every unseen moment and counted it worthy. Chosen one, your hidden battles are not wasted. They carry as much weight in eternity as the visible victories. What you fought in prayer at midnight, what you overcame in tears alone, what you resisted when no one was watching, these moments shaped you more deeply than the applause of any public triumph. Scripture records in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 6, "But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you." This is the beauty of your hidden life. It is not invisible to God. The very prayers whispered when you thought no one heard became incense rising before the throne. The victories you thought were small are etched in eternity. Think of David, tending sheep in the wilderness. No audience, no recognition, no stage. Yet it was there, in the hidden place, that he killed lions and bears. Those battles no one saw prepared him for the giant everyone would see. So it has been with you. The hidden wars were never wasted. They prepared you for visible triumphs. Do not despise the seasons when your strength felt unseen. The unseen is where roots grow. A tree does not rise tall because of what is visible above the ground, but because of the unseen network beneath it. Your hidden battles became your roots, anchoring you so that when storms came, you did not topple. These unseen battles also produced humility in you. Had all your victories been public, pride might have risen. But because much was fought in secret, you learned to lean on God alone. This humility has become your shield, protecting you from corruption when public recognition arrives. Chosen one, even the wounds you sustained in those battles are not wasted. Scars may remain, but they tell stories of survival. Each scar is a line in your testimony, proof that darkness did not prevail, proof that you endured. In heaven's eyes, your scars are not shame, they are glory. Your hidden struggles have also given you authority to speak into others' pain. When someone whispers, "No one understands what I'm going through," you can stand as proof that someone does. You know the weight of silence, the sting of rejection, the heaviness of carrying unseen battles, and because you have endured, you now carry words that heal, because they come not from theory, but from experience. The unseen also refined your discernment. You learned to hear God's voice not in the noise of crowds, but in the quiet of solitude. You discovered that His whisper is enough, that His presence alone sustains. This is why you are not easily swayed by distractions. You know the sound of truth, because you heard it in silence. Chosen one. Honor the unseen chapters of your life. They may never be celebrated by men, but they are celebrated in heaven. Angels stood, watch over you as you fought battles in prayer. The Father's eyes never left you when you pressed on in weakness. Every moment was recorded, every tear treasured, every victory remembered. Do not believe the lie that unseen means insignificant. The hidden place is sacred. It is where giants are prepared, where kings are anointed, where prophets are shaped. You are not less because your victories were private. You are more because they were authentic. And when the time comes for public victories, you will carry an authority that cannot be faked. People will see the strength in your eyes and wonder where it came from. They will not know the midnight prayers, the silent tears, the hidden endurance, but heaven will. And heaven will ensure that your private faithfulness becomes the foundation of your public testimony. Chosen one. Never forget, the unseen is not wasted. It is holy. It is eternal. It is the ground where God confirmed who you are. You are not defined by applause or recognition. You are defined by the whisper of your name in heaven's council, spoken before any crowd ever knew you. And that whisper carries more weight than any earthly stage. So walk boldly, carrying both your hidden scars and your hidden strength. They are the evidence of a chosen one refined in fire, anchored in truth, and prepared for destiny. Your hidden life is the soil where destiny grows. Seeds do not sprout on the surface, they germinate in darkness. Without that unseen process, there is no harvest. What you endured privately was the germination of a calling that will now bear visible fruit. Think of a pearl forming inside an oyster. The world never sees the irritation, the grinding, the pressure that shapes it. But in secret, layer upon layer builds until beauty emerges. Your hidden battles were the irritation and the grinding. And now the pearl of your purpose is ready to shine. And just as pearls cannot be manufactured by machines, your authority cannot be manufactured by appearances. It was crafted through real struggle, real faith, real tears. This is why your words will carry weight. They were born in fire. Chosen one. Treasure the unseen chapters. They are proof that God trusted you with silence before He entrusted you with sound. And remember this, what was hidden has not been forgotten. Heaven wastes nothing. Every unseen sacrifice is written in a book that cannot be erased. At the right time, what was cultivated in silence will burst into song. What was buried in obscurity will rise in brilliance. Chosen one. The world may not know how deeply you have fought, but when your light shines, they will know it could only have been God. The unseen will become the testimony that crowns your destiny. There is a weight that rests upon your shoulders, heavier than circumstance, deeper than emotion. It is not the weight of despair, but the weight of glory. Many confuse it, because it presses and stretches, yet it is a sacred burden. A reminder that you were never ordinary, that you were whispered in heaven's counsel and entrusted with something eternal. The Apostle Paul captured this paradox in the second letter to the Corinthians. Chapter 4, verse 17. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. What feels unbearable now is not the end. It is preparation for the glory set before you. Every trial adds weight to your testimony. Every sorrow adds depth to your crown. Every loss carves space for a greater fullness to come. Chosen one. You have felt this burden. There were days when it pressed so heavily that you wondered if you could stand, nights when you whispered into the dark, asking for relief. Yet you are still here, and your endurance is proof that the weight was not to crush you, but to form you. Like a sculptor's hand upon clay, it was shaping you into the vessel that could carry eternal fire. The weight of glory is never comfortable. It demands surrender. It pulls you away from shallow living and into the depths of calling. It insists that you cannot live for yourself alone. For to carry glory is to become a channel one through whom heaven flows into earth. And this requires both strength and humility. Think of Moses descending from the mountain. His face shone with a radiance so intense that the people could not look directly at him. This was the residue of glory, the evidence of time spent in God's presence. Yet Moses himself did not seek the glow, he sought God. The glory was the overflow. So it is with you. Your pursuit is not glory itself, but the one who gives it. And as you seek him, the weight of glory rests upon you. Whether you realize it or not, this weight is also protective. It anchors you when winds of distraction try to sweep you away. It reminds you of your purpose when voices of compromise call. It holds you steady in seasons of shaking. What others may see as heaviness is in truth your safeguard. It ensures you cannot drift far from the path written for you. But carrying glory also means carrying misunderstanding. Others may not comprehend the burden you feel, the seriousness with which you take your calling, the discipline required to walk in alignment. Some may even mock or minimize it. Yet remember this: the weight is not for them to understand, it is for you to carry. Heaven chose you because heaven knew you could. Consider the Ark of the Covenant. It was not meant to be touched lightly or carried carelessly. It demanded reverence, for it represented the weight of God's presence, and those entrusted to carry it were chosen, set apart for the task. You are like those carriers. The glory upon you is not casual, it is sacred. Treat it with reverence. Walk with humility, and it will not crush you, but crown you. Chosen one. This weight will also transform others. When they encounter you, they may not have words for it, but they will feel the difference. Some will feel peace, others conviction, still others a stirring they cannot explain. It is not you they are experiencing, it is the weight of glory flowing through you. Do not despise the burden. It is proof that heaven trusts you. It is evidence that you are marked, and it is the seal that you were never meant for ordinary existence. While others live lightly, you carry weight. While others drift, you are anchored. While others pursue applause, you pursue the eternal. And in time, the weight you carry will reveal its purpose. It will become testimony, inheritance, and legacy. You will look back and see that what once felt heavy was in fact the very thing that gave your life meaning. The burden was the blessing all along. Chosen one. Rise beneath this weight. Do not resist it. Embrace it. For it is not crushing you. It is crowning you. It is not burying you. It is building you. The whisper of your name in heaven's council did not come cheaply, it came with glory. And now, that glory rests on you, shaping you, steadying you, and preparing you for the unveiling that lies ahead. The weight of glory is also a hidden fire. Others may not see it, but you feel it within, burning, refining, reminding you that your life is not your own. This fire keeps you awake when compromise whispers. It draws you back when distraction calls, and it compels you forward even when your body feels weary. Think of coal pressed under the earth. For years it is hidden, dark, unseen, yet under pressure, it transforms into a diamond. The same pressure that could crush also creates brilliance. The glory you carry works the same way. The pressure you endured was never to destroy you, it was to reveal the diamond God was shaping within you. And when the diamond shines, it does not speak of the years underground, but of the worth revealed through endurance. So it will be with you. The weight will give way to radiance, and the heaviness will become your crown. Chosen one. Hold steady. You are not being broken by the burden, you are being refined by it. The greater the weight, the greater the testimony. And when the unveiling comes, the world will see what heaven always knew. You were chosen to carry glory. The glory you carry will one day explain the path you walked. What seemed confusing, heavy, or unfair will be seen as preparation. The weight was proof of worth. The struggles were proof of trust. And the endurance was proof of identity. Chosen one. Never forget, crowns are not given to the untested, and glory is not placed on the careless. It rests on those who endured with faith. And you are one of them. The whisper in heaven's council was not just a calling, it was the confirmation that you were strong enough to carry this glory. There are moments when the chosen ones walk not by sight, but by vision. Sight shows you what is in front of you, the obstacles, the lack, the impossibility. Vision shows you what heaven has decreed, the promise, the pathway, the fulfillment. To be chosen is to be called into vision, to walk in alignment with what is unseen, yet more real than anything visible. The ancient words in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 2 to 3 declare, "Write down the revelation and make it plain on tablets so that a herald may run with it. For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." This is your assurance. Chosen one. The vision spoken over your life is not fragile. It has an appointed time. It cannot die, because it was birthed in eternity. Vision is what has sustained you through seasons of silence. It whispered when sight failed. It pulled you forward when everything around you said stop. It gave you hope in nights of despair and courage in days of battle. You may not always have seen the full picture, but glimpses were enough to keep you moving. Think of Abraham, called to leave his homeland without knowing where he was going. All he had was vision, a promise of descendants as numerous as the stars, of a land prepared for him. His sight showed only barren ground and an aging body, but his vision carried the voice of God. That vision sustained him until fulfillment came. So too, with you, your sight may show limitation, but your vision carries expansion. Sight says, impossible. Vision says, appointed. Sight says, delay. Vision says, not yet. And as long as you hold to the vision, No obstacle can stop the unfolding of destiny. Vision is also responsibility. To carry it is to steward it. That is why you feel such weight in your spirit. Even when you cannot explain it, you sense the future pressing into the present. You see beyond what others see. And at times it isolates you. Yet the isolation is confirmation. You are glimpsing what was whispered in heaven's counsel. But vision requires faithfulness in the waiting. Seeds of vision do not sprout overnight. They must be watered with prayer, guarded from doubt, and trusted through seasons of apparent dormancy. Just as a farmer waits for the harvest with patience, so too must you wait for the fullness of what was promised. Chosen one. The vision within you is not fantasy. It is not daydream. It is blueprint. Heaven entrusted it to you because you have the endurance to wait, the courage to believe, and the faith to act when the time comes. Others may doubt, but you know what you heard, and that whisper still carries you. Think of Joseph, dreaming of sheaves bowing and stars honoring him. Sight showed betrayal, slavery, and prison. Yet vision carried him through, and in the end, the vision spoke. It proved true, unfolding exactly as heaven decreed. Your story carries the same pattern. Sight may show contradiction now, but vision will speak in its appointed time. Do not let weariness steal your vision. Do not let delay convince you it has died. Even when you doubt, the vision remains alive, because it is not sustained by your belief alone. It is sustained by the one who spoke it. Your role is to guard it, nurture it, and hold it close until its day of unveiling. And when the vision manifests, it will not only fulfill your destiny, but also awaken faith in others. They will see that God still speaks, still fulfills, still keeps his word. Your testimony will become their vision, your story, their hope. Chosen one. Hold the vision close. Write it. Rehearse it. Declare it. Let it remind you that your life is not random, it is intentional. The whisper of your name in heaven's counsel was not only a calling, but also a revelation of the vision written for you. And though it tarry, it will not fail. Vision is like a compass in the wilderness. You may not have a clear map, and the terrain may shift, but the compass always points north. Even when storms surround you, the compass reminds you of direction. Your vision is that compass. It keeps you from wandering aimlessly, ensuring that your steps move in alignment with heaven's decree. It is also like a seed planted in your heart. At first, it seems small, even insignificant. Others may overlook it, dismiss it, or question it. But in the right season, under the right conditions, the seed begins to sprout, and once it sprouts, no hand can stop its growth. Your vision carries the same inevitability. It may lie hidden now, but its time of rising is assured. Vision also demands guardianship. Thieves of vision come in many forms: fear, doubt, distraction, comparison. If not resisted, they can blur what God has made clear. This is why the instruction to Habakkuk was to write it down. Writing makes vision tangible, harder to steal, easier to recall in moments of confusion. Chosen one. Hold tightly to your vision. Write it, pray it, and speak it until it anchors itself so deeply within you that no voice can erase it. And remember this: vision matures you. Waiting does not weaken vision, it strengthens it. A child may see the vision of a crown, but lack the wisdom to wear it. The years of delay are not denials. They are the process of preparing you to carry the weight of what you saw. When fulfillment comes, you will not be crushed by it, because you were refined in the waiting, chosen one. The whisper of heaven gave you vision because you were trusted to carry it, protect it, and live it. It is not random, and it will not fail. Trust its timing, honor its weight, and let it guide your steps until the day it speaks aloud for all to see. There is a finishing line written into every destiny, a point where the journey of testing gives way to the fullness of promise. Chosen one. You are not running aimlessly. You are not wandering without direction. You are moving steadily toward the completion of what was whispered over your life in heaven's secret council. The beginning carried fire, the middle carried testing, and the end carries glory. The Apostle Paul declared in the book of Philippians, chapter 1, verse 6, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. This is your anchor. What began as a whisper will not end in silence. What began as promise will not fade into nothingness. The one who started your story will write its final line with his own hand. Completion is not merely about reaching the end, it is about fulfillment. It is the moment when scattered pieces come together, when unanswered questions begin to make sense, when wounds once raw become scars that testify to survival. Completion reveals that nothing was wasted. Every delay, every fire, every silence, every burden, all of it carried purpose. And all of it is woven into your final song. Think of the tapestry weaver. From the underside, threads look tangled, chaotic, without pattern. But when the cloth is turned, a masterpiece is revealed. Your life has felt like the underside at times, messy and confusing, but completion will turn it over, and you will see the design heaven had in mind all along. Chosen one. This is why you have endured so much. Glory at the end requires endurance in the middle. Completion requires faith that holds even when sight cannot. You have carried that faith, sometimes trembling, sometimes weeping, but never letting go. And because of that, you are nearing the unveiling of the masterpiece. Completion also carries inheritance. You are not only fulfilling your own story, you are leaving a pathway for others. Just as Abraham's faith became the inheritance of nations, your obedience will mark a trail for generations. Those who come after you will find the road easier because you walked it first. Your story will not end with you. It will ripple forward, carrying light long after your earthly race is finished. And though completion sounds final, in truth, it is a beginning. For the crown you carry is not for this life alone. Eternity stretches before you. And your story here is only the prologue. The real song begins when time gives way to timelessness, when faith gives way to sight, when endurance gives way to eternal rest. Yet, even now, glimpses of completion break through. Every answered prayer, every breakthrough, every testimony is a preview of what is to come. These are foretastes, reminders that you are not running in vain. Heaven gives them to strengthen you, to remind you that the final unveiling is nearer than you realize. Do not despise the weariness. You sometimes feel it is the weariness of one who has run long and hard. But know this, the finish line is real. The crown is secure. and the reward is certain. You were whispered in heaven's council not only to begin, but to finish. Not only to carry weight, but to wear glory. Not only to endure, but to overcome. Chosen one. Your story will not end in defeat. It will not fade into obscurity. It will end as it began in the presence of God, marked by his whisper, crowned with his glory. And when that moment comes, you will see clearly what you only glimpsed before, that you were always carried, always seen, always chosen. So walk on with courage. The final stretch may feel heavy, but it is also holy. The finish line is not a place of sorrow, but of song, not of loss, but of victory. And as you cross it, the words you will hear will echo louder than every battle you endured. Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord. Chosen one. This is your destiny, not only to begin, not only to endure, but to finish, and your finish will be radiant, unshakable, unforgettable. For what heaven whispered in secret, the earth will one day witness in glory. Completion will feel like a sunrise after the longest night. For hours, darkness convinced you it was endless. That morning would never come. Yet, without warning, the horizon breaks and light spills across the earth. Suddenly, the night shrinks into memory, and what felt endless reveals itself as temporary. That is how your story will close. The light will prove that the night was never in control. Completion is also like the harvest season. Farmers labor for months, sowing seed, pulling weeds, waiting through rain and drought. At times, it feels like toil without reward. But then the fields turn golden, and all the hidden work becomes visible in abundance. Chosen one. The harvest of your endurance will be greater than the labor of your suffering, and when the fullness comes, you will not stand alone. The generations shaped by your obedience will stand with you, carrying your story forward. They may never know every detail of your battles, but they will walk in the freedom and blessing that your faith made possible. This is legacy, your life echoing beyond your years. So, trust the author. He who began your story is writing its final chapter with precision, beauty, and promise. The ink of heaven does not smudge. The pages do not tear, and the ending will not disappoint. And in that ending, there will be no regret. The weight you carried will transform into joy, the scars into songs, the tears into crowns. Completion will not silence you, it will amplify you, declaring to heaven and earth alike that God's chosen always finish radiant and victorious. Chosen one. You have walked with me through every line, every whisper, every revelation spoken over your life, from the secret counsel of heaven to the trials of fire, from the silence of waiting to the weight of glory. You have seen that your story is no accident. You were called, you were preserved, and you were set apart. This entire journey has been heaven's way of saying to you, you are chosen, and your name is written where eternity cannot erase it. Now comes the moment where reflection becomes response. Words alone cannot carry transformation. They must be sealed by action. And these actions are not burdens, they are simple, symbolic gestures of agreement, ways of planting your yes into the soil of destiny. When you like this, picture it as placing your stone on an altar. In ancient days, Altars were built, not for decoration, but as memorials, markers of where God spoke, delivered, or transformed. By liking, you are saying, this moment matters. This is an altar in my journey. When you share, imagine it as pouring water into a thirsty field. You may never meet the farmer who sowed seed there, but your act ensures their harvest will come. Someone waiting in silence, someone doubting in darkness, may stumble across this word because you chose to share it. And in that moment, their hope revives. When you subscribe, see it as stepping into a covenant camp. In the wilderness, the tribes of Israel pitched their tents around the presence of God, never wandering alone. By subscribing, you are saying, I choose to remain in this flow of light, to journey with others who carry the same fire. And when you comment, let it not be casual but covenantal. Words have always been markers in Scripture, stones of remembrance, names carved on scrolls, songs written in psalms. By commenting, you are leaving your testimony etched into the fabric of this moment, saying, I was here, I received, I declare it. These gesturas may look small, but in truth, they are eternal ripples. Just as one seed planted multiplies into a field, your single act can multiply into harvest for others. Just as one spark can ignite a forest, your agreement can stir flames far beyond what you imagine. Chosen one. Do not underestimate your participation. You are not a bystander. You are part of this movement. Heaven whispered your name, not to keep you silent, but to call you into action, into alignment, into declaration. And these simple acts, your share, your subscription, your comment, become physical signs of a spiritual truth. You are chosen, and you say, yes. And beyond these acts, remember, the real call is to carry this fire into your life, to let what you have heard not remain on a page but live in your words, your choices, your steps, to shine not only here but everywhere you go. Chosen one, this is not the end. It is the beginning of your unfolding. Heaven has whispered, and earth will now witness. Rise with courage. Walk with fire, live as chosen, and let your light ripple through generations. Like, share, subscribe, and comment 4 small acts. Yet together they form a tapestry, a stone on the altar, water in the field, a tent in the camp, a testimony etched in time. When woven together, they are not just gestures online, they are prophetic signs of unity, obedience, and faith. Each one carries light, and when combined, they create a blaze that darkness cannot quench. Chosen one. Your agreement here is more than support, it is covenant. And in this covenant, heaven smiles. For the whisper of your name has found its echo on earth.